1, 2, 3, 4. What's up, everybody? It's good to be back. We missed a week, and it feels like a month or a year. It's good to be back on the Saltiest Gaming Podcast. We got a lot of people in here, a lot of excited people. We're doing a giveaway, just to let you guys know. That will happen randomly, so you guys don't know. And I'll be doing that. I call the giveaway out. You need to be in the chat, and you're going to have 30 seconds to respond. If you respond, then we'll exchange information on Twitter or whatever means. I can send you a Discord link or whatever you need, and then I'll send you the code, okay? So it is what it is. That's going to be going down, so stay tuned for that. I want to shout out everybody I can, but there's too many people in here. Just to let you guys know, we do appreciate every one of you, and we couldn't do this without you. I love Thursdays. I love my panel. I appreciate all you guys and our guests. We have some awesome guests, awesome topics. If you guys haven't heard, there's some crazy rumors going on. So without further ado, let's get into this, shall we? Let's start off with our guests tonight. We got both of them are returning guests, but they're super awesome. Hyena Den, how's it going, man?
I'm doing really well, actually. I wanted to make sure I wasn't late to the podcast because I was helping my dad set up his subscription to Xbox Game Pass because he wanted to play Crackdown.
That's nice.
Was it on the Nintendo Switch? No, I'm just kidding.
Not yet.
Too soon.
Yet though.
But yeah, he's a really huge Crackdown fan, so I'm like, dude, you're gonna love it. So.
That's cool, man. And you were shoveling snow in the desert? How was that going?
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. It's snowing in Los Angeles, Vegas, all apart. SoCal, and it was snowing in Vegas.
It's crazy.
Like yesterday or something. It's insane. But I'm happy to be on the Saltiest Gaming Podcast as always.
Yeah, we love to have you on, especially for that tech inside knowledge, because you are pretty good with that. Shout out to Yobi Dren. First of all, let you guys know there's going to be another giveaway, which is going to be going on soon thereafter, after this one, for not one, but 2 copies of Mortal Kombat 11, thanks to our proud supporter there, Yobi Dren Clown. So if we can give him support in the chat, he's an awesome community member. We're going to be doing that. I'll give the details out for that. But then we're also going to be doing a little one-on-one tournament. Maybe we'll get more people in on it. It's going to be dope. I'm excited for that. So stay tuned for that. Lots of good giveaways to come. Next up, we have the Sesh Empire. So Shady, what's going on, man?
Everything's going on, Salty, as always. I saw the salt signal. You know me, I had to respond. Here I am, man. I love coming on the show. You got a wicked community here, a bunch of positive gamers. I love it, dude. Can't wait to get into this week's topics. It is hot out there as far as news is concerned and gaming. My God, I'm still convinced this is still almost a holiday, and I don't know about it, but people tell me it's February still. Nuts. Let's do this.
That's right. Let's go. We got our returning panel members. Let's start off with Titan Drago, the loudest guy in the business next to Mooch. No, I'm just kidding. What's going on?
And I'm coming for that title.
Yeah.
So, now what's up, everyone? It's been another week of crazy gaming, and Xbox just giving you more options, and apparently fanatics / morons out there attacking Xbox yet again. This is seriously getting old to me. I try to maintain my calm, but the trash just pours out of these people's mouths. It's like literally like a verbal landfill, and it's like they hate Xbox. Anything they can do, anything they can put a negative spin on Xbox, they try to do. So personally, if you haven't seen my tweet, I had to block Red Dragon today. That dude was apparently bathing in toxic waste for the entire time he was gone on Twitter. While it was all sunshine and rainbows, he's not around. But now Crackdown comes out, and an easy target with a lot of baggage. And what do you know? He comes back and starts opening his mouth again. So not anymore, not for me. I've had it. See ya. I suggest you all bring the common back to sense with me.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with Red Dragon. He seems like a spurned lover, you know? They got dumped on prom night. I don't know what the hell happened to him, but he is definitely not for Xbox anymore. So anyway, let's get to our next panel member. Boom, boom, kaboom. He's in the room. It's Noof Nukem. What's going on, man?
That's right. It is Thursday night, the Saltiest Gaming Podcast. Always good to be back. We got a great show lined up for you, a great panel as well. And yes, Titan Drago, it's unfortunate, but there are a lot of people in the PlayStation community that remind me of my shit. How is that? They're all full of nuts.
Oh, wow. You've been eating lots of nuts,
I'm going to leave it right there. Let's get ready to get down and dirty.
Hey, a buddy of mine back in the, he said that, you know, he took some shots. He was like, PlayStation fans aren't really PlayStation fans. They just like to talk trash about Xbox.
Oh, damn.
Put those
Okay.
facts out there.
Getting it started right away. And next
we'll
up,
get
we
it
got
started.
Nintendo Direct. Unfortunately, we got some news. He has a schedule change with his work, so he will be leaving the panel. It's not a permanent thing. He always has a spot here on the Saltiest Gaming Podcast, because if you didn't know, he was here from the beginning when it was called Dads of Gaming Podcast, so his spot is permanent, man. We got that in cement with his name on it, you know. So
Oh yes.
tell them where they can find you, my dude, or what's
Yo,
up.
you can find me, the Black All Might. That is right, Jacob. The Black All Might in the house. You can find me. Nintendo Direct, everything, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. You can find me all there, and I'm ready to get into these topics, especially this little hot rumor we've had going around all week that I kind of want to get into.
Oh, yeah, dude. There's some juicy rumors out there that we're definitely going to get into, involving all parts and sectors of the gaming community. So without further ado, is Bloody in here? I can't see the whole panel because of my screen.
He is not.
Okay, so Bloody's running behind. He's hurt right now. I think he's at the urgent care, but he'll be joining us shortly. So let's get into our first topic, shall we? Let's talk about Scalebound, okay? Scalebound. You know, I first heard this rumor from a Nintendo, it's kind of a Nintendo YouTube channel that I watch, and they were projecting this project that was killed under Nintendo that's going to be revived, because that rumor was going out there. And they're like, okay, let's speculate. And they're bringing up all these, Nintendo titles, like Donkey Kong Racing and some other stuff. And then they started talking about something that was a little weird to me. And then they said, hey, what about Scalebound? That Xbox title that got canned? What if it was put over on the Nintendo Switch? And I was like, holy shit, that doesn't make any sense, because there's situations with Xbox owning the IP and this and that. But this rumor spread like herpes on prom night. Again, look, it's all over the place, and I don't understand how this was being spread like this, but everybody supposedly loves Scalebound now, and they want to see it on a Nintendo Switch.
That's the point.
It's
crazy.
getting a little ridiculous, but I got some interesting information regarding this news story, but I want to hear you guys' take. Like, what's up with Scalebound? Like, why is it like this popular title that people love to rehash over and over, Like,
fake hype, man. It's fake hype. There's a lot of fake hate in the industry. This is hugely fake hype. It was shown off a bunch of times. No one was waving no one is too blanketed. Most gamers weren't waving its flag and hype for this game. It really wasn't. That's the reality of it. It wasn't showing well. The gameplay that was being shown off wasn't very good at all. It just doesn't vibe with the majority of gamers. It wasn't doing it. And then as soon as it was confirmed canceled, it was at the pinnacle of Xbox hate, that being the big thing, and it got canceled. So all of a sudden you had people that had zero interest in the game. I swear to God, the gaming gods, RNGs, all hail. These people, they are only propping it up because it's an easy target to point fun at and say, that was why I was going to buy an Xbox and they canned it, so I'm not now. And they just run with it for years still, that's what happens at Xbox. Games get canceled, the ones that we were going to buy, yada, yada, yada. I do not believe a second of it. Some people are hyped for the title, no doubt, that's fine. But as far as it being as hyped as social media pretends that it is, it's outrageous. And that's why I think this rumor spread. Again, you have the naysayers more than anything spreading it, pointing fun that something that Xbox, quote unquote, dropped the ball on when they weren't even making the game. Platinum dropped the ball. Either way, that they can point fun at it again and say it's going to a competing platform and ha. I mean, I'm just sick and tired of that crap. I don't think it's going to do well, even if true. A former producer on this game who doesn't work at Platinum anymore has been tweeting about how he thinks it's extremely unlikely due to IP law and the fact that Microsoft still owns it and everything else. He just doesn't see it. But I think this rumor just took off because of the fake hype surrounding it by people that just want to constantly find ways to jab Microsoft. Really.
Agreed.
Yeah, these fools have been eating, like they must have just swallowed their last mouthful of crow, because these fools have been eating crow since the Xbox One X has come out. And you can say what you want. You can tweet. Anyone can turn a positive into a negative, okay? Anyone can take some gold and turn it into nothing. The trick in life is turning nothing into something. These PlayStation dudes, man, they sure love to take like you said, easy targets, something with a lot of like a baggage or shrouded like question marks around it, and they love to run with it. Like you said, for years. Like, I forgot this game was coming out. And I gotta say, like, call me crazy if you want, but that game seems like a Nintendo title anyways to me.
It's a Platinum Games title, so
It
yes.
is a Platinum Games title, yes.
Yes, it is.
I mean,
the game is made for Nintendo. Let's be honest. It's a Platinum Games title. That's what it's made for.
It really is. Like, this game had, it had its fans. I wasn't one of them, but I don't even care if Microsoft gives this game away for good.
Well, there are those people like yourself that didn't, have hype for it, and Shady said his piece on it as well. But I think that I personally, when I saw it, I was excited for it because I like dragons. I like hack and slash combat. I like that type of stuff. It was a little weird to see the dude have headphones on. That was a little off-putting, but I like the music. I like Platinum Games. I like Nier Automata and Bayonetta and stuff like that. So
who the fuck fights dragons with headphones on?
They're not fighting a dragon, by the way. You're like, that's your partner, you know what I'm saying? And you can turn into a dragon and take their powers and shit.
Dragons too? Like, you got your dragon, you also fight dragons.
Fought like a big giant spider or something. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. Long story short,
man. I think it's the Japanese anime look that turned people off more than the dragons. To be honest, that's the big one that not everyone's into. I mean, the fan base is there and they are passionate as shit. But it's a small group compared to the large, majority of people that are out there that do game. The games do well in that group of people, but they don't do well with anyone else. And I think that was what really stood in the way of people getting massive hype for this game. Dragons are awesome. I mean, who doesn't like dragons? That's a real thing.
I was excited for the game.
Mothra's coming to attack the world. Oh, okay, Titan. Wait, let me get my headphones on first.
So when it comes to Scalebound, it has nothing for me personally. It has nothing to do with the art style or any of that stuff. I just don't like Platinum Games. Personally, I do not like Platinum Games.
What did they do to you?
Platinum Games reminds me.
Show me on the doll where Platinum Games touched you.
Platinum Games reminds me of Tesla, the car corporation, when they first started out. And Tesla's a very, very good company now, but back in 2005, Tesla was very, very reckless when it came to business. And that's how I've seen Platinum Games full stop. They come out with 6-7 games at a time, and then they wonder why they're past deadlines and they can't get anything out. It's like, if you want your business to run well, maybe you should start looking at how to run your business well.
So it's
to be fair, but he's not wrong, right? He's not wrong. To be fair, if you look at it as a fan of Platinum Games, for every 4 or 5 games that they put out, one is really good. The other 4 are just god awful.
Correct.
So it's like
It's true.
Correct.
Look at their list. Look at their list, dude.
It's kind of the other way around. I think they tend to skew good to great, and the odd one is bad. I think.
No. It was like they put out so many titles that they are very hit and miss. Like, look at when Vanquish came out, really good. Shortly after that, Bayonetta came out, and within 2 years, they dropped 5 different games. 2 of them being the Ninja Turtles games that they did, which was god awful.
Yeah.
And then they did what came right after that? They did that.
Right. That was right. Did those Ninja Turtle games? I think that might have been Activision.
I'm bringing up their list right now, man.
They did Transformers for sure,
yes.
which was awesome.
Transformers Devastation. Who the fuck played
man,
that? I didn't play it. You played it?
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, man. If you're a fan of the G1 series of Transformers, it is insane. It looks like that cartoon.
The only good ones was the War for Cybertron and Battle for Cybertron.
Well, those were different types. This is a hack and slash beat 'em up Transformers.
Vanquish
were almost like shooters.
Vanquish was cool.
They did Vanquish. That's good.
Vanquish is dope. Vanquish is dope.
Let me just say,
but then they also had
people that are really excited over this rumor because it just proves that your mother swallowed the smart ones.
Oh shit.
Oh god. Here's the thing. I was one of the people that was really looking forward to Scalebound. I was really looking forward to Scalebound. And now with this whole rumor, all it is the trademark. So even if they did, they don't have the original assets or anything. That's all still owned by Microsoft and the IP. So they can name something Scalebound, but it's not going to be the same game that people saw back then.
Like Scalebound, Unbinding, Alpha X.
Yeah. It'll be completely different. That's all.
Well, the new rumor is right now. Here's the deal. The only reason this is why I think this came up because the rumor is that since Microsoft and Nintendo are really close right now, or seem to be really close, that Nintendo and Platinum Games has made it clear that they really wanted to finish this game because it was one of their games. It was a labor of love per se. And they really wanted to finish this game. So people are kind of putting 2 and 2 together here and saying, okay, well, since they're so close, this could be coming. On top of that, they just got the hype of Astral Chain just being announced at the Direct, and that's another Platinum Games on top of Bayonetta coming. So, and Platinum Games has been saying, look, we are going to have a lot more content on the Nintendo Switch. So people are just taking all of these quotes and all of these rumors out there,
and they're just kind of building their own damn narrative.
Building their own narrative and their own hype on it. Here's the deal: I don't think it's gonna come. To be honest with you, because like everybody says, it's hard to get past all the license and all the legalistic problems unless Microsoft's just like, yo, take it, which I don't think they would, but if they did, that would be dope. I wouldn't mind it coming to the Switch at all, but I don't think it would. But I just think people are just running with this just because like Shady said, that was like the one thing that people were like, oh, I would get an Xbox for this, but now I'm not going to, but I'm not going to get an Xbox now. They were rainy day fans. Well, exactly. There was no hype. But you know the narrative. People were saying, oh, well, Scalebound, I was going to get an Xbox for that because it's Platinum Games and I like that. No, you weren't. You weren't really going to, but that's what they say. And that is the only game that Nintendo and or Sony fans like could relate to because it was a Japanese weeb game. So they're like, oh, I like that. And then they wanted to, trash Xbox fans for losing it. So now it's just, I don't know, man. It's just this weird narrative that came from, like you said, from one video from someone who didn't even say this was factual. He just said, I'm spitballing. But people took that as gospel and ran with it, and now they're building their own narrative with, oh, maybe Xbox and Nintendo are working together here. I just saw, who was it? Go Nintendo made a tweet up because reportedly through leaks and sources that they're working together in this relationship, and this could happen. I don't know, dude. I don't think it will though.
It's true, and the way that you're putting it, there was absolutely no way that people were gonna get it because, like I said, rainy day fans, and like Antonio in the chat said, the reason he got an Xbox was for Gwent.
Gwent,
make a point. Yeah.
Yo,
that's a new one. Hey, to each his own.
No, I'm just saying that he made that as a snide remark to all the people who are saying all that, which is true because it's a bunch of stupid bullshit.
Hey, I think Platinum Games killed Star Fox, right? Star Fox Zero was the last one.
Star Fox Zero was the last one, and they did it, and that was awful. But guess what? Ubisoft's not doing it, so it didn't really matter.
I mean, it is what it is, man.
Again, the funny thing is, like I said before, is that I really like Platinum Games, but the issue is like kind of what Hyena said, is they stretch themselves way too thin. Like, don't get me wrong, they're a fun company. They know their niche with the hack and slash, but they take on too many damn projects at the same time. And out of that whole batch, one or two are good, and the rest in that whole lot is just garbage.
No,
it's true.
Hey, if you
in your opinion,
in your opinion, I mean, it's very subjective. Like if I look at this list,
I thought we was gonna hand out L's.
This is a list. This is a list from 2000.
Is that it's true? Like
2010,
they
right?
Make too many.
If I'm looking at this list, it's not like trash. I mean, you look at it. 2009, they have Bayonetta. I don't know what Infinite Space is. It was on the Nintendo DS. They made Vanquish. They made Bayonetta 2. Shady likes Transformers, Devastation. They killed Star Fox. I mean, that is what it is. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that sucked. Nier Automata, we know about that. That's super successful. They're working on Bayonetta 3. It's rumored. Astral Chain and stuff like that. So they have some mobile games, Lost Order, and World of Demons. So they have a pretty good track record. I wouldn't say it's more negative than positive. I think it's more positive than negative if you put it out there. You know what I'm saying? So.
I've been working on this narrative since 2013. I've been working on this narrative just to spread the Xbox hate.
Don't let
he was writing his lyrics.
Don't let these fake PS4 fans get under your skin.
So
it is what they is. Fake friends, man. Fake fans, man. They only in it for the clicks. They only in it to talk trash, and that's it. They all playing Madden and 2K anyway.
So what Shady was talking about, Game Informer's senior editor, I don't know how to announce his name, but it's Khan something on last week's Kind of Funny game show. According to the source, Nintendo has intentions of reviving a certain project, even though it was officially canned. And then they were talking about a Wii title called Project Hammer. And this is Scalebound, but what they're saying is basically this isn't going to happen due to sources inside Platinum Games heard this And he said the main reasoning why it won't happen is because it's tied to very personal situations within the company, and like all the shit that went down behind the scenes, people don't want to rehash that. You know what I'm saying? Like the stuff that went on between Microsoft and Platinum, and how much Platinum wanted this IP to come out, but it was unsalvageable at certain times. He just says it would just be a massive undertaking to try to go back and rehash all that negativity, if that makes sense. So performance issues and all that other bullshit. So I don't see it happening. You know, I think it's bullshit. Personally, you guys could, you know, talk behind the scenes if you think it's going to happen or you want it to happen. We could talk about it in the comment section, you know. So
happen.
So Wild Bates wants to know who's going to get the most L's tonight. What do you guys think, panel?
Bloody. That's easy.
Bloody.
Bloody taking L's today. All right, he always takes L's every day. He just doesn't know it. But I got Bloody in this one, or me. I don't ever get myself in a fight to take L's. I'm just chilling over here in the corner.
No, Nick, your entire life is an L.
Oh, okay.
I mean, no one ever said it wasn't, Bloody. See, that's how you use your psychology against you. Everybody knows I'm a big L over here.
All right, so let's move on to the next topic. It's VR. I got a lot of interesting tidbits on here. It looks like Microsoft is not interested at all in VR.
Thank God.
Because there's some people behind the scenes that are developing games. So there's a Spanish studio that released its first VR title on PlayStation VR called Intruders Hide and Seek. And apparently this person did an interview with Gaming Bolt, and this person's been asking people within Microsoft, hey, you guys going to do VR? Hey, you know, you interested, blah, 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 and just kind of, you know, trying to figure out if this is going to be coming at any point. And this person was shut down every time, you know, like, hey, it doesn't seem to be a priority for Microsoft. And what furthers this information is Microsoft could be actually moving to kill Windows mixed reality. Signs are pointing out that they might be moving away from that. So the peripheral situation for Microsoft is not a priority at this point. It's more of the software, in which we will get into more of the services and stuff like that. But what do you guys think about this information? You know, developers behind the scenes trying to get information from Microsoft higher ups, and they have no interest whatsoever, even with the increased, more powerful hardware in the upcoming next generation. Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing? Go ahead.
I think it is a bad thing. It is.
Okay.
But do we have any idea the clout that this developer is? Like, he could literally be a virtually nobody that just keeps asking and is not given that type of industry information. Simple as that.
It's true.
Or it might be something like Microsoft themselves aren't planning on building one, but it could be open to third-party headsets or something along those lines. It's weird because wording just works that way. You can word something one way, but then still kind of do it anyways.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I think it's unfortunate. I'm not into VR right now. I have experienced it, and I think it's really cool. And as the technology advances and we're able to play VR in most games as opposed to just a select few, I think it's going to be pretty awesome. I look forward to all the racers and first-person shooters and flight sims and stuff in VR. I think it's pretty rad. Not for everybody, obviously nothing is, but it's a bummer for sure if there is no solution for VR or mixed reality next gen. I'm looking forward to it myself.
Yeah, because we'll talk about some PlayStation news in regarding, PSVR, but they seem to be ramping up and have plans into PSVR 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So we'll talk about that. And I just want to get people on both sides of this argument. So we heard, the Sesh Empire, give his take on it. Are there any, people out there that think that this is a good move, that Microsoft should just totally avoid this situation, or, just jump right in?
Microsoft, bring VR. I'm telling you now, bring it.
Yeah, Noof, you go ahead. Noof.
Let Noof go.
I don't know why are they going to pass up on that much money? There's a lot of money left on the table. VR is going to be a long ways ahead of where it is now. If they bring it out for the next Xbox, the technology is progressing at a rate. It's just they got to get the adoption into people's hands. They got to make VR a little more accessible, and that means cutting some of these damn cords they got to make it. I mean, you can't judge everything by PSVR because the fucking lenses are so shitty in the resolution, but still, it's not a bad start, right? I give Sony credit for at least trying something. It doesn't matter if you buy it or not. At least they went out and tried something. Only fucking thing Microsoft wants to do is shove subscriptions down my fucking throat. So bring out some VR and please other fans that might actually want the stuff. Yes, I'm feeling feisty as fuck today. There's already some idiots in the chat. Bring it on!
Subscriptions.
You guys took a bump or two before you came in here. I love it, dude. It's feisty. It's feisty night.
All right, now that I've heard Noob's
Titan,
opinion,
go ahead.
Hey, Mikey Barra, yo hablo español.
Mikey Barra.
Yo hablo español, Mikey Barra.
I guess not. I guess that's
Apparently
a no.
not.
I guess that's a no.
Now, Microsoft is on the same wavelength as me. Like, I understand people, some people like it, but like VR is not cost effective right now. It's not going to be for a while. It's not going to be what the masses want for a long time. I mean, I don't see the risk that Microsoft has to take. Besides, they can jump in it at any time. They don't have to do it at the start. Yeah. Like, where's the law that says they have to do it day one? They're like, who the hell wrote that? But anyways, I mean, I thought they were going towards augmented reality anyways.
Well, both. I've gotten both.
Yeah, well, like I said, that HoloLens story is it's talking about that they might be moving away from that as well. You know what I'm saying? So augmented reality, mixed reality, virtual reality, it doesn't seem to be a priority that much anymore in the Microsoft camp. Okay. So they might have had interest in it a couple years ago, maybe 2015-ish, before the Scorpio launched. You guys remember that they were kind of making statements like, hey, yeah, VR, blah, blah, blah. Yep. We might explore that, and then all of a sudden, boom, nothing. We don't hear jack squat about it. Like, they don't even mention it. It's because, I'm telling you, the hardware side of this business, Microsoft is not really interested in. You know what I'm saying? Like, they've had ventures out there with hardware, and then when hardware is necessary, they'll make the hardware, but they're interested in software and getting their software out to the masses, just like Windows. You know what I'm saying? Windows was everywhere. Now Game Pass is that offering. Like, this subscription service is a focus point. Go ahead, Michael.
Salty, what can I say, man? Like, seriously, look, guys, I gotta be honest with you. VR is not coming to Xbox. Why? Because we got fucking burned with Kinect. I mean, come on, man.
That's right.
The thing couldn't even understand what the fuck I was saying half the time. I'd say, Xbox, play a game, and all of a sudden my fucking oven would come on. It was crazy. So we had to give up on that shit. VR is a little too complicated. We'll leave that to Sony. Those guys can take the losses. We're good.
Hey, we got more from Mikey Barra. He's a little feisty, or you were on Twitter. Excuse me. So yeah, we'll talk more about Mike. He was riling up the fanboys on Twitter, whatever. Lots of people getting triggered. So yeah, like, honestly, so if you look at Disney, for example, they acquired Fox. They want to start their own streaming services up with their TV show side of the business. You look at Netflix and all that other stuff. Like, Disney's putting priorities on that. Like, that's their number one priority over even movies, and they're making billions off of their movies. So this subscription shit, it's real, man. You're talking about the games, and video games is a huge part of that industry and entertainment, so it only makes sense that that's what their focus is. Who haven't we heard from in regards to VR? You want to put your take in there, panel or guests?
It's a two-sided coin, honestly. Like, the bad side of it is, when it comes to saturation in the market, if there's not a lot of players entering the ring and offering their support for VR, then VR is not going to grow. So that's, part of the bad side of it. But the only good side that I can see coming from Microsoft not stepping into VR is if they move those funds into making traditional games. And obviously everybody wants games. So if they use those funds and subvert them into games, then, obviously people want games. So it is what it is.
Yeah, this is developer, like, they made like the one VR game, right? It's like some survival hide and seek game. Or something like that.
I mean, honestly, I would much rather Microsoft spend those funds, or however much capital they would have spent on VR, and subvert them all just to traditional games.
It's possible they might be doing that.
Throw money at it,
They might have
throw all the money at it.
They might have already been doing that. They have made a lot of studio acquisitions, said there's more to come. And almost all these studios are constantly posting more and more acquisitions as far as staff. They're all staffing up. Some of them are getting brand new buildings. All of that costs a lot of money. To be a game developer, you're making a decent coin, man. Like, it's not a $25,000 entry-level job to be a big coder at some of these companies. I think they're making some decent money, and to be pulling in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of new employees is millions and millions and millions of dollars. So I think Microsoft is definitely spending on games that we're all been waiting for and screaming at them for years. So I'd like to see that mantra kind of toned down now, and just a little bit of excitement as to what they may be. But I think they are spending on games. I hope that they're not killing VR though.
Battle Royale in VR. Last one wearing the blanket gets to spank it.
Some Battle Royale.
That's my kind of
people
show.
are gonna turn this into a negative, and they're gonna say, no, the Xbox bought these games, and they go on to Game Pass. All these mediocre games in Game Pass. I'm about done with that too. Freaking. Forza is in Game Pass, people. It's not a place for mediocre games to go and die. It's not.
Gears is coming. Halo Infinite will come. Whatever the initiative is going to make, quote unquote quadruple A. These are all
Titan with the ADD over here. Let's stay on topic. All right, let's stay on topic.
The VR thing
I was about to go.
is cool and all. Like, VR is cool, but even now, even with like PSVR and stuff, there's just not a lot of demand for the VR market. I mean, even on PC, right? Even with some of the more accessible ones, it's still a couple $100 for a headset and all the stuff you need for it, as well as you still need to have a fairly decent built computer that can handle the VR stuff. PSVR may be the most successful selling VR, but that's also because of the fact that it was built specifically with the pro in mind, as well as the fact that it's the cheapest. That's literally why. But even then, look at how much it has, 3 million, 4 million sold or something that's supposed to be the next big peripheral that's supposed to be a guiding force. That is not a number that's worth investing any sort of money into for any sort of long sustainability. And
you're right, man. I mean, isn't Xbox dead because it sold 40 million consoles? It's dead. Get it out of here. Bury this piece of trash. But 2, 3, 4 million VR units sold. This is the second coming of gaming Christ.
Exactly. You're not wrong.
Insane narrative.
And everyone was mad about the Kinect, right? And the Kinect was one of the highest selling peripherals before the one, and that one was still supposedly axed because it was just so trash, right? Get that shit out of here.
The number one.
It was.
So
it really was.
A counter argument to this. So I just want you guys to see what's happening on the PlayStation side. PlayStation's Sean Layden has different viewpoints on the way VR should go, and he said that he's hopeful PSVR 2 will happen, and maybe PSVR 3 and 4 for that matter. His take on it is he's saying that you got to start somewhere, right? And he's like, you got to imagine 10 years from now what VR will be, but that change will be dramatic. You can't go get to 5.0 if you don't have 1.0 is what he's saying. So he said, so by that take, I could see where they're coming from, but they're two different avenues that, of course, Microsoft's going down, and then PlayStation. One's going to work out very successfully, and the other is going to be left out in the cold, in my opinion, because either PlayStation's investing all this time and money into something that's going to be extremely good, or they're investing all this time and money into a peripheral that might fail, and I don't know if they have the assets to do that. You know what I'm saying?
I fully expect Xbox to jump on the VR bandwagon when it's going to meet most of the consumer's needs.
Yeah, when it's actually viable. Even now, there's not enough software out there that is absolutely the go-to for VR. Yes, you have the fun ones and stuff like that. Yes, you have some like things like Beat Saber and stuff like that. You had Keep Talking, Nobody Explodes. Some of the smaller titles, but there's no killer software that demands, hey, everyone go out and buy VR literally like right fucking now.
I agree, but doesn't it take time to kind of develop, the resources in the studios to make those games? Why they're
not investing in it. That's why.
I mean, you can't just turn the light switch on and say, "Hey, we want a first-party peripheral with all these games and stuff like that." If you don't have the history there. That we were talking about that on different shows, like, hey, with xCloud and game streaming and Game Pass, Microsoft might have the leg up because they've been putting all this time and effort into some of these services, like backwards compatibility, the cloud, Game Pass. Why isn't it the same for this VR situation? I mean, if Microsoft doesn't put this time and effort into it, which could be a good idea or a bad idea depending how it turns out, at the end of the day, if you're 5 years down the line and PlayStation's been in the game for how long with their VR systems and their developers, you can't just make up that ground whenever you want,
But they're not focusing on it. Remember, they have dedicated third parties who are making the VR equipment that they use for PCs. Don't forget, they still have that aspect, and there's a lot of other companies that are doing it. Lenovo, Asus, Acer, all of them are making their own VR headsets that they sell through the Microsoft store because it's meant to go with Microsoft and all their Windows software and stuff like that, and their PCs. They sell that. They're just not focusing on it themselves because they're having others who are already focusing on that as their aspect.
I hope it keeps getting better. This is a technology that, like you said, you can't get to 0.5 without being at level 1 first. I agree, man. Like, I want this to advance to the point where we're jacking ourselves into the Matrix, dude. Like, I need to have that before I'm dead, God damn it. So I thank everyone out there who's essentially an early adopter to this VR world. Thank you very much. But, like, I really hope that it doesn't just have a bunch of barriers and difficulty going forward. I would like it to get all the help that it can. I'm not an investor in these companies, so I'm not worried about their money on the back end of what might happen. As a gamer, I would like to see, like, just all efforts put into making this insane. Just another way of playing games that some people out there will really enjoy. I would love for that to happen instead of putting up walls and barriers for the technology myself.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say, like, the thing is, right, a lot of companies are, in this day and age, they're very afraid to invest the kind of money that it takes to really launch and go full bore on these technologies, right? I mean, it's like anything. When everything's popular, everybody jumps on board. You look at the Battle Royale trend, everybody wants a piece of that pie. Back when the Wii set the world on fire, everybody wanted a piece of the motion capture pie. That's why Sony brought out the Move. It's why Xbox kind of jumped on board with the Kinect. Everybody was looking for that next big thing, And
that helped VR, actually. Those motion controls, they integrate in.
But the thing is, right, like, again, it's a lot of obviously Sony thought, obviously was on the forefront on this particular thing, and they invested a lot in it, and there are, like somebody suggested in the chat, kind of nurturing this along. At least I'm happy to say that they haven't come out and pulled the plug, haven't kind of given up on it. They've kept it going, and I don't think we're too far off of some games that are going to be what we call must-haves for VR. But no matter how much a must-have a VR game is, like Astrobot, I rave about it. I think it's one of the best games I played last year. It's an insane game, and it shows you the true potential of where 3D platformers, for example, can go in VR. It does a lot of things right, still has some learning curves. But the thing is, like VR, because once you're in VR, you're the only one immersed, and that's the problem. Your buddies can sit down next to you, and they don't get it until they wear it. And then once you wear it, guess what? There's, like, you're cutting out the social experience, right? You're pretty much oblivious to the world around you. You are the one that's focused in. There's a lot of drawbacks to VR, but there's a lot of good things just too. And like Sadie says, somebody has to test drive this bitch or it's never going to go anywhere. This is not 3D we're talking. 3D was legitimately, like, that was more or less a fad. It didn't really do much other than, a ball's coming at my face and it looks like it, it's kind of coming at the screen. But, good VR. I see big potential for it in the future. Microsoft has got a lot of partners. That's the cool thing. They don't have to spend all the R&D to do the helmets. They got lots of people, whether it's Acer or HP, et cetera, that can build this tech, and then they just had to provide, say, the support and those kind of means to get some great software off the ground. So it is one of those things. And again, and the chat and the panel itself is another reason why these guys don't want to go full in on VR, because everybody's so split on the idea. It's not unanimous. It's like, I don't see the chat going, yeah, VR is amazing, and there's like two guys going, yeah, it kind of sucks. It's until we get to the point where most people are on board with it, I think they're afraid to really fucking, go all in. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I'm not sure which headset it is, but I've seen one that has technology where I think it has a front-facing camera on the headset. So with a touch of a button, it puts what the camera is seeing in front of you onto the the screens that your eyes are seeing. So let's say if you've got kids in the house and there's a noise to your side or something and you want to look over, you're not trying to take off your Borg helmet. You just push one button and you can look to the left and you're seeing what you normally would. Because I think that really is a big barrier of VR, is that when you put that headset on, the rest of the world is gone. Like, you have to put a lot of trust into like roommates, family members, any other human being that's around you, right? Because there's a lot of pranks and jackassery to be had when you're watching someone play VR. It's a funny looking thing. And you just tap someone on the shoulder when they're playing with headphones, they damn near jump out of your skin. Imagine a VR game when someone else comes up behind you and kind of gives you a bump. I don't think that's, you need a lot of trust. And then anyone out there with just young kids is the easiest example. If they're doing anything around the house, it's hard to shut yourself completely off of that environment and feel comfortable with it, I would think. So VR just gets in the way. So with stuff where you don't have to try and get this helmet off your head and you can still see through it, some kind of opaque screen, maybe those see-through TVs that just came out at CES they were showing. If they can do something with those where just a touch of a button, the game is gone and you're looking at your world again, I think that'll do wonders for something like this.
Yeah, Shetty just hit it low key there. That's really why I don't do VR, because I don't trust nobody.
You don't trust nobody. You don't want to get robbed blind while you have your VR set on.
I got it on. I don't trust my friends. They do some stupid stuff.
There's so many YouTube videos of people in VR and then one of their jackass buddies taps them and the guy has like a virtual heart attack. His spatial awareness is flipping. He's flopping like a spent.
Hey, that's not as bad as the videos of people who are like doing those like virtual experiences at like the mall, right? And they like the people who are like doing the like virtual roller coasters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and like as soon as they go over the hill and see the drop, like they legitimately, their body reacts and goes face first into the ground because they're following it.
That's right, especially if someone just taps them. Like, someone just touches you in a certain way when you're in these weird, basically a virtual world. Your body is going to just, it goes weird, man. Your brain and your body don't communicate properly anymore, and you start to not feel good, and you're flipping and flopping. It's ugly and kind of dangerous, to be honest. So a lot of trust is involved. So I'd like to see something address that.
Yeah, so we're going to move on to the next topic, VR, man. What a topic, you know what I'm saying? So we'll move on to the next topic. Let's talk about Crackdown 3. Let's talk about the reviews for this game. Let's talk about how you feel about it. Do you think it's warranted?
All kinds of that.
Yeah, let's talk about Metacritic, everybody's favorite subject, all that good stuff.
When it fits their narrative. Get out of here.
So yeah, if you guys didn't know, Crackdown 3 came out for Microsoft. They've been talking about this game since 2014, the power of the cloud, all that good stuff. Anyway, they released the game in 2 files, the multiplayer Wrecking Zone and then the campaign. Campaign you can play in two-player co-op. Takes about, I don't know, 10 hours to beat? It depends on the person. But it received a juicy 60 on Metacritic, and I was pretty shocked, honestly, because what I was seeing from the trailers and everything else, and I wasn't expecting a 60, let's just put it that way. I think I was somewhere in the 70s maybe before all was said and done, because I was like, well, if they're improving on Crackdown 1 and it's just more of Crackdown, it's like, well, how bad could it be? Well, I guess the proof's in the pudding, folks. 60 Metacritic. Yeah. Is this warranted? Have you played the game? I personally played it. I have a review out. If you haven't checked that out, check it out. I gave it an 80 in my review, but that's coming from a dude that doesn't like Crackdown. I'm not a Crackdown fan, so I don't have anything invested in this. And when I was seeing the trailers from 2017, I didn't like what I was seeing. I was like, nah, that's not for me. But they went back to the drawing board, added some effects and upped the visuals. Terry Crews is in there, and I had a blast, man. I was playing with Titan Drago. We beat the game together, and it's just a big ass bowl of fun that we're eating up. You know what I'm saying?
It absolutely is. This is like the purest video game to drop in a long time, where it's just not bogged down by a giant narrative attached to it all over the place, or huge RPG mechanics. I mean, you do level up and stuff like that, obviously, but I'm not worried about what gear I have, or if I step away for a week or two, I don't come back and wonder why the hell I'm wearing these boots and what I was trying to get. It's not there. When my friends come over, I don't have to turn it off because of narrative reasons and spoilers. Instead, it's just, we're trying to take down these badasses in a fucking city, and it's on. And that's it. We just jump around, we get orbs. Like, I'm over 500 orbs strong here. I'm on the last 2 bosses in the campaign. I got the last of all the achievements in Wrecking Zone today, so I've got 500 points out of 500 points there. It's awesome. I love the Wrecking Zone. It's not perfect. It's not the greatest multiplayer in the world. Crackdown's never been known for that, so I'm not going to look at that as the defining thing. It's the campaign and the co-op, and I think this is the best one. So to have it rate way lower than the previous Crackdowns is insane, and to me highlights the problem with modern reviews. They look at games and they judge them and they review them based off of what they aren't as opposed to what they are. This is a Crackdown game. It's not trying to be Spider-Man, Batman, Last of Us. It's not trying to be Halo. It's not trying to be Gears of War. It's trying to be Crackdown, and it delivered on basically all levels, man. All levels. One or two hitches here and there is not enough for me to hate on a game. It's never been enough. I'll bring it up. I'm not happy with the fact that I can't play with friends at the moment. I'm not happy that it's not 4-player co-op. It's a bit upsetting that even the co-op in general there's like a bit of a micro lag, especially with the cars. The cars are weird in co-op mode. There's a lot of tire screeching going on, and they just drive funny. Whereas when you're playing solo, it is butter smooth, man. That frame rate just does not dip, no matter how many explosions are going down, at least in my experience. I love it. Like the color is bright. It's easy to pick up and play. It's fun. I can jump in for 20 minutes or a couple hours and have a blast, and then leave it and go back whenever I'm feeling up to it, because there's just nothing there that I need to remember, a la gear, narrative, all that kind of stuff. It's just a pure fun game, man. I think it deserves at the very least what the previous games got, if not higher. I give it an 80 to an 85 myself. I love the game.
Shady, you summed it up really good the other night on our podcast when you said that the people that are hating on this game are judging it for the things that it aren't instead of for what it was. Something like that, correct?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
So
like, I'm just not a fan of that. Like
Sam,
I mean,
Sam in the chat says games are supposed to innovate. He understands the reviews. We're not trying to call you out, Sam. That's a good point. So what would you say to Sam on that point?
I would say in aspects it has innovated. The city is much, much, much bigger. That's not exactly innovation. It's just size increase. But the movement has innovated. You do now have the double and triple jump and the double and triple dash. There are some pretty nifty gadgets that weren't around before that are awesome to play with. I really like I like the replicator. There are now boss fights in the game. There's more narrative in that opening cutscene than the previous two games combined. So they did add that. Whether people are fans of the hand-drawn comic style or not, it doesn't really matter. To say that they should be CGI cutscenes and then the game would be amazing, it would be better. But I'm fine with what it is. It's Crackdown. It's easy, pick up, and fun. I love playing it with my friends, my brother especially. We have a good time just causing shit and wrecking ass out there. Yeah. It's a good time, and I don't think that it needs to be compared.
I was like, who doesn't like wrecking ass? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I did. But like a great example of people comparing it for what it isn't compared to what it is was GameSpot. Right before the game came out, had a YouTube video out that was literally titled "Why Crackdown Didn't Kill Grand Theft Auto," and it's just like, are you fucking serious? Because they never tried. It is not that type of game.
Well, actually,
just because it's open world doesn't mean it's Grand Theft Auto.
Go ahead.
Just because your character is quasi super powered doesn't make it a superhero game and has to be on the level of Spider-Man or Arkham games or anything like that. It's Crackdown. Just look at it like Crackdown. I don't understand. Why not? They did innovate. This is a bigger, better looking game on all levels. So job done, in my opinion. It's not perfect, but it's good.
Hyena was going to say something, I believe.
Yeah, I was going to jump off of what Shady just said, saying that Crackdown 3 is getting reviewed for what it's not, and it's getting compared to things that it shouldn't be in the first place. And I've noticed this in the industry over the last year and a half now, and I've summed it up as saying that it's called, in my mind, it's called the nearest neighbor complex. The game is not getting compared to other games it's similar to. Like if people are comparing Crackdown 3 to Agents of Mayhem or Saints Row or anything like that, it's like, okay, that makes sense.
Even Saints Row is way more narrative-driven, open-world type game. It's trying to be Grand Theft Auto, if anyone.
Right. It's like, well, remember, it originally was supposed to be. It was supposed to compete with Grand Theft Auto. That's why, if you look at the first game, it was very much into the small-time gang thing, like they did with San Andreas. And then when the second one came out, they're like, hey, why don't we just do our own thing? And that's when they got over the top with all the shit.
Yeah, my problem with it is, if you're going to review a game and compare it to something, compare it to its closest neighbor. That's what makes sense to me. I'm not comparing Forza Horizon 4 to fucking Ridge Racer because they're not the same. You know, I'm not comparing Horizon 4 to F-Zero. They're not
God of War.
Like, and I see people comparing, you know, the Sea of Thieves and Crackdowns to God of War and Spider-Man and Gears of War, and it's like, no, that doesn't make sense.
They're not even in the same genre.
Yeah, it's just whatever. Like with me, when I think I completed Crackdown in about 12 hours or so, and the game's just pure fucking fun. Like my brother this morning came on, he's like, "Did you see the reviews for Crackdown?" I'm like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Well, I shouldn't get the game." And I'm like, "Why the fuck shouldn't you get the game? Why don't you try it out for yourself? Like what?"
Well, once you beat
that
it,
hive mentality, that lack of
exactly,
thought.
exactly.
I hate it.
And I want to go into this, right? And I'm glad that someone else brought this up, because this is what's going to set me off tonight, because I've been talking about this for the past while. And the fact that people take these meta scores or any sort of scoring system as the end all be all gospel of what you should like and what you should don't like is what's given these media sites and all these other outside external resources too much goddamn power, because aggregate scoring systems are broken, heavily broken. All right. And I'm going to show you this, right? So if you take it, what they do is that the algorithm in these aggregate scoring sites look for certain keywords that each article uses to heavily weight towards the overall score, as well as they take the rating from each of the sites themselves to base it off a general aspect and then weight that with the keywords that were used, whether they use words like dynamic, whether they use words that are like innovative, fun, or if it was disappointing, if it was slow, anything. No. And that's what I'm saying is that these websites are heavily weighted against games that get low reviews. If you look at the amount of reviews for Crackdown, it's at what, like maybe 60 reviews or so. Yeah. So you're telling me that the reviews of 60 individuals outweighs the thoughts and opinions and reviews of several thousand other people.
Yeah. Or millions.
I'd say the exact opposite. If you really want to look at how bad these review sites or these aggregate scoring systems work, let's take a look at movies, right? Because the fact that they've been around a little bit longer and can give us a baseline. When you think about the greatest movies of all time, what comes to your mind? You know, Titanic, Casablanca, Avatar, a lot of the big movies that have been around for plenty of time. That have
for the
been
record,
heavily,
Titanic does not enter my mind when the greatest movie.
I'm saying when you think about
Dude, where's my car? Right?
No, yeah, but I'm saying when you look at those movies, you know, movies that are universally praised, that are critically acclaimed, that a lot of people think of when they think of, you know, best movies. You know, movies that have been reviewed thousands of times.
The Last Jedi. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. Anyways, when you look at those kinds of films, right, you would think that they would be the top-rated films across Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, and other things, right? No, some of those have as high scores as 90 to 93, and that's with several thousand reviews. If you look at what the highest scoring movies of all time, you'll get a movie like Paddington 2 that has a 99.
Do you say Paddington 2?
Yes. Paddington 2 has a 99 on Rotten Tomatoes with only like 62.
For sure.
62.
I get what you're saying, dude.
You nailed it, bloody, with the 64 reviews out there from critics outweigh everybody. And if that's a real thing, you would hope that these 64 reviewers are experts in the field.
Not. Exactly.
And we've all seen their gameplays. We've all read their opinions. It's garbage. They are casual garbage, clickbait, trash.
Real quick.
All of them.
Real quick. Hold up.
And you're not wrong.
Gotta pay the bills. Gotta pay the bills.
You would
Hold up.
think that some of these
Gotta
sites
pay the
would
bills.
be around long enough to have.
Chill.
No. What I'm saying is that
gotta pay the
some of
bills.
these sites, hang on.
Hit.
Gotta pay the bills.
Hoop, hop, heap, hop, hoop, hop. All right. Rumple Foreskin with the $2
oh my
super
god,
chat.
it's fucking picture.
Great show, Salty.
What are you talking about, Hyena? It's a broom against the wall.
I know,
You dirty bastard.
Yeah, you see what your eyes want to see, Hyena. You know what I'm saying? So,
hey, that's the biggest joke. Not only is it a minority, man, but they're terrible. These are terrible reviewers. They
yes.
don't take
And
the
that's what I
industry
was trying to
serious.
say
They're
is
not
that-
good at games, and yet all of a sudden, when they come together as a group, that's the number that defines the narrative on how good a game is. It's a joke. I don't take it at all serious. I'm done talking about it myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
now
but
and
that's what I'm
overall,
saying.
like I'm just sick of these people.
the bottom line,
that-
the bottom line is we just gotta take it as a summary of what we need to take from here. We'll just pull it back for a little bit. a lot of the times the mass public doesn't believe what these critics, right? I think a lot of times there's a lot of movies out there, a lot of games out there that are really good that get smashed because social media at this point is just one big toxic cesspool that loves to find a focus point, right, and then smash it. You know what I'm saying? Anthem is the next target. Anthem's been the target because it's part of EA, so they just love to see that. Or Fallout 76 deserved it, but that was for a time the focal point of the hate of social media or the drive for YouTube, because negativity drives clicks and it drives views and money and all this other stuff, right? So they find different things to bounce off of and then they just destroy it, right? So that's the problem here. But I tweeted out that there's too many sheep out there, right, and not enough shepherds, because that's the leaders of the world just are few and far between. But the sheep, they love to congregate together and they'll follow in a herd and follow off the cliff because it is what it is. They believe what people tell them. They don't fact check. They don't do resource checking online. Whatever they see on social media is factual to them, and it sucks. The Scalebound rumors, for example.
And that's what I was trying to allude to, right? Is that because of the fact that nowadays, as you said, people don't research, right? Mm-hmm. Because of social media and how fast access to information is, people have the shortest amount of time of attention span that they don't take the time to actually look. The thing about what you want to do when it comes to reviews to get an idea is you want to look at several different reviews, look at all the information that is the same across all of them to give you an idea of, hey, these people all agree about these same points. That may be something to take into consideration. But at the end of it, it's like, this is to give you an idea for yourself. And then you choose whether you want to, or you still want to go into it, knowing this information ahead of time and still forming your own opinion. People don't know how to form their own opinion nowadays. That is the issue because of these things.
So, and then there is too much opinion. Reviews used to be a thing to inform the gamer on what the game had to offer. Now it's all opinion and judgment on what the game isn't. Mm-hmm. And they just slap a score on the end. It's like they don't inform you on the gameplay. They don't tell you really any in-depth amount of info on what the game actually has to offer. It's got the wrong gender or the wrong skin color or the wrong this narrative or the wrong that narrative, or there's microtransactions that ruin it all. It's always something that isn't actually game related. It's off. And it's just like, that's not what a review is. That's an opinion. I want to be informed, not told about someone's judgment.
Let's segue to, it's a nice segue. Let's segue to Anthem and the review scores that are coming out. So EA has this weird way of getting this game out. They had the Origins Premium Plus. If you pay us some side cash, we'll give it to you even earlier. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have these different tiers. And these people have been getting the game out. And first of all, the game reviews are out on PC, right? Like, the people that have access for the full amount. Like, there's EA Access that has 10-hour trial on console, and you can say whether or not you could finish the game in that time. I've heard from people that they could or could not. And
it's
then
gated.
The
progress is gated.
Yeah. So the PC Metacritic scores are up, and it's not good right now.
No, it's not.
So the PC scores are out, and then everybody's saying, oh my God, Anthem's trash and Anthem's this, and it's not even, the full release isn't out. And then we have Mike Ybarra commenting on the situation, and he's saying that, people are whining and the criticism's unwarranted, and the reviewers don't even do the research. And one of these reviewers didn't even know how to do a combo in the game, and he's putting out this criticism, and he doesn't even know the basics of the game, and then he's shitting on the game, and he's one of these people that would say, well, hey, this game's trash, you shouldn't buy it. Or he's one of these quote-unquote media people that can't even get through the tutorial in Cuphead. There's a big issue here with, like I said, once people think that the game should be negative and shit on, they do it, and then they don't take into account of all the lives they potentially ruin and all the hard work. Because BioWare, for example, for some weird reason, people want BioWare to go under. It's weird. You know what I'm saying? They want BioWare to tank. They want BioWare to, I don't know if it's because they want them to move on from EA, but I just see all over the place, well, I hope that this doesn't kill BioWare. wink, wink. You know what I'm saying? Like secretly people want that shit to happen. So let's talk about all this. Like, do you think this is going to screw over the potential, franchise in Anthem? Just another victim of, the toxicity and the Metacritic scores, or what's going on? And then do you think Mike Ibarra is in the right for commenting and calling people whiny?
Mark Ibarra is certainly in the right, especially on what is happening currently with this game. Like, EA is somewhat to blame because of, like you brought up, that weird staggered release. People are paying money and do have the game, but there is a massive day one patch, which again is weird for EA. If they're going to release it fully for people, how about you get that day one patch ready the 10 days early? You know what I mean? Get that 10 days early. They wouldn't have this issue, because a lot of what people are bringing up in these negative reviews is being addressed in the patches. A lot of it. They're addressing the loads. They're addressing loot drops. They're addressing the fact that you lose your option settings every time you load the game. There's a lot, like, it's pages long of stuff. And to review the game, and if that's out there, that's public knowledge. These reviewers, again, should be aware of this and hold back, but they're not. And it comes down to clickbait, money grabbing, clicks. They need to have the review out right now, review it on a game, slam it for what it is, potentially put another review out in a week when it's fixed. Oh, I was wrong. Here's the real.
Which they don't.
Which
they don't.
They
never put those out.
No, you're right. Big sites rarely ever do. I noticed, like, some YouTubers do. Skill Up will do it every now and then. Oh, he's a big guy.
Shout out to him, dude. I love
currently
Skill Up.
He's shitting on the game as well because of a lot of things that are going to be addressed in the patch, and he is an informed gamer and he does know that stuff is coming. So it upset me to see him bitch about it, and it's like, bro, it's going to be fixed day one when 98% of the audience gets their hands on it.
Real quick, Bloody, I just want to hear from Noof, because he's been quiet for a while. Noof, what's your thoughts? Because I know you are out on Anthem before any of this shit came out. Like, what do you think, Mike Ibarra? I mean, whiny bitches out there, putting their feedback out there. What's going on here, Mike?
Okay, there's a lot of whiny guys out here. Okay, across the games industry, the community, it's terrible. But look, a lot of these whiny bitches are fucking so shitty at games. Most of them can't even get a chicken dinner at KFC, let alone one in PUBG. So, you know what I'm saying? We just got to deal with it. It is what it is. Look, at the same time, if the game, as long as it sells, it's going to do fine. EA will be fine. They'll find another way to give it to you in the butthole anyway. Just hang in there, play the game, enjoy it. Stop worrying about the reviews. Make up your own mind and just have fun.
A guy in the chat, Dirkadur, says, is that his real voice? Mike Ibarra or Noof? Mike Ibarra actually.
You're not gonna get Mike Ibarra at these other podcasts, man, except for a late night Noof Nukem.
You're not gonna get
this game it's also being reviewed for what it isn't, as opposed to what it is. Guys are upset that it's not World of Warcraft, a game that asks $14 out of you every month just to turn on, has a decade plus old of lore already. Like, it's not the same at all. This isn't an MMO. There aren't hundreds of people in your lobby. There's 4. This is a looter. Look at it like a looter. There are plenty of examples out there now. That's what this is. It's not Mass Effect.
That's expecting people to have a thought or know how to think. They don't.
Well, I mean, hey, the whole narrative of the game is not Mass Effect story. Yeah, no, exactly. It's not Mass Effect. It's called Anthem. It's a looter. So I'm not going to hold that against it. It is what it is.
The thing that I'm questioning is the hypocrisy in this whole thing. The Destiny fans out there, when you talk to them and you say, well, Destiny had a troubled launch. Destiny had a convoluted story. Tons of people didn't like it. I think it was like a 74 or 77, something. 70.
It was a 71 when it launched in
71 Metacritic. So it's not that far off. And you ask some Destiny people, and they say, well, the story's not that important. It's all about the gameplay.
Yeah.
But then you talk to them about Anthem, and they're like, oh, the story sucks? Well, fuck this game. I'm out. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, which one is it?
And you know what? I have issues on that because of the fact that I'm going to call out all those people because of the fact that most of them didn't put in the fucking hours into either one of those games, and I did. Here's the thing, right? Destiny 1, when it launched, the gameplay loop is what kept that game going. Yes, the story tried to be cool, and it didn't work when it first launched. Did they add a lot of story later on? Yeah, they expanded on it in a very well done ways with each of the expansions, but the stories were short-lived. Everything was in the Grimoire, which wasn't even in the damn game, which got called out, and they fixed that. But the lore for that game literally had people building their own stuff with all the written prompts for Destiny. But the aspect that made Destiny so fun was the gameplay, because everyone liked the gunplay because it was one of the most refined first-person aspects. The power fantasy was there for a little while before they changed it all in Destiny 2, and that was what made people stick around with it. Despite the grind, despite the aspect, it was the amount of loot that they were getting. What made the Division cool is that it was based in reality, still had the loot grind that a lot of people wanted, had a fun cover-based aspect because it was third person, but it did have a good world building. Division was great up until Endgame when that game first launched, because there was no Endgame at that point. Anthem literally has taken both of the good that those games did and is trying to refine that. The movement system and the combat is the same as if you were to go back and play Mass Effect 3 and Andromeda. Andromeda especially because it had a great fast-paced combat system that was very mobile, while they're trying to add in a lot of the built-in lore as you explore the game by picking up collectibles, talking to people, you unlock that stuff, and it's in the game. They're not trying to do another Destiny where you have to go off into your website or on an app to read everything that's going on in the world or get any sort of history. No, like they're literally trying to do everything right, and people are giving them shit on it right out the gate. Yep. And like when he addressed the day one patch, yes, that is something that, yes, they launched the game early for PC players, and now they're putting out the day one patch before it goes live for some PC players,
subscribers, right?
Yeah, or the premier access, not the basic. But everything that has been talked about from those premier, as well as others who are playing like the 10-hour trials and stuff like that, they are already addressing those issues within the very first day patch. Yes, you could have said that they should have had it before it even launched for them early access, but this is going to make it where it's better for everyone when it goes live worldwide.
So
he makes a good point that people are too quick to talk shit about it and vilify it from the get-go.
Nick,
well, they're not thinking. One of the biggest
real quick, I want to hear from Nick real quick.
What's that?
Nick, what do you think about this situation, man? You've been quiet. Titan, you've been quiet, my dudes.
Well, man, I'm just listening to everybody. Here's what do I think about this situation? One, I think a lot of people who got the early access, you paid a lot of money to beta test the game before it came out. That's what I think. The first things first, because like they said, it's kind of crappy on EA's part to do that, because they could put this game out earlier they put this game out for quote unquote early access ahead of the actual official release time. Now they're gonna put out a day one patch. Y'all just pretty much beta tested all the bugs and issues from the get-go. It's going to hurt them because a lot of people are going to play that, and that's going to be their first impression, and that's going to be the review instead of the actual what the finished product is during the release date. EA sort of shot themselves in the foot with that one. So,
really.
I'm looking at it from being a fan of BioWare and just I haven't touched the game yet. Because I wanted to wait for the actual release date because I kind of knew that this was probably going to happen. I kind of suspected that there would be a day one patch to fix all the bugs and all this other stuff. I was going to wait until day one. That way it didn't hinder my experience. That way I didn't have a bad taste in my mouth from the get-go. So that's why I haven't touched the game yet. Yeah. But that's kind of what I'm getting from everybody. I've had friends message me and tell me, yo, this game is crap, the bugs are bad, it's getting bashed, and it's too bad, it's bad for BioWare, and you're hearing a bunch of just everybody just raining down on BioWare and EA at the moment.
Nick, but here's the thing though. Why is this any different than any other 10-hour trial?
We got to hear from everybody else, my dude. Titan, what were you gonna say?
My thing, I just wanted to hear your and Nick's opinion, because he started on it. What do you guys think of? All right, so people are acting like day one patches are brand new.
It's true.
Like day one patches have been around for a while now. Like games release broken all the time. They release things, they need to be patched. That's just the way the gaming, whether you like it or not, that's the way the gaming industry is moving. Beyond that, whether they deserve it or not, I mean, I don't even like to go down that route, because to me, like this Metascore, like really these critics have just been destroying themselves lately, in my opinion. And I need to know your guys' opinion on that too, because I mean, they trash Crackdown. It's a fun game. Crackdown, a fun game is not a 60. Okay. People have fun with Crackdown. People are going to have fun with Anthem too. I fucking guarantee you. What do you guys think?
Here's I'm gonna have fun with Anthem. I'm playing it. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna have tons of fun with Anthem.
So one of the biggest critiques from everyone in the media is that the story, like the choices that you get to make, aren't giant world-altering choices. But if you think for literally 5 seconds, this is a cooperative game
Thank
with
you.
a cooperatively shared story.
Thank
How
you.
the fuck are you and I going to hang out when we game together when I took my story to the extreme left because of my choices and you took yours to the extreme right?
Exactly.
And we're talking about it.
Yep.
It makes now zero sense. The actual story of the game is set in stone. We are just participants, and your personal story is how you get to the end, who you make friends with, who you're a dick to the people on the Tarsus station or whatever, the behind the wall.
Is this one of the
it's not
things that
some
they're
big
hating on the
altering
game
shit.
for?
Huge.
Yeah,
yeah.
Your choice,
yeah.
your choices
topic.
don't mean
Huge one,
much.
dude.
Yeah, your
The
choices
story
don't
is
mean
huge.
much.
Hell.
It's like they're not
Yeah.
allowed to mean much because of the cooperative nature. If they start to mean way too much and change the story too much at all, when I talk to someone who went a different direction than me, there's a giant clash on the actual immersion to our worlds being together. It's like, well, how are we even playing on the same mission then if you've killed the guy who gave it to me? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Well,
So
I
they
want to
have
kind
have
of
a
get away
story.
from the
Remember what
game
they
right
said
now. I
about
want to hear
that.
your opinions
Hey,
about the critics themselves.
Remember what they said about that, and this is what people keep forgetting, is that they've stated openly before, is that they're splitting the aspect of it. It's called the Our World, My Story. What you're experiencing is your own individual story.
Exactly.
Like,
They say it in their promo material even. And to answer your question, Titan, what I said, it kills the critics, man. They're saying all this crap and it just doesn't fit anymore. There's so much ridiculous hate. Like I said, with 3 seconds of thought, you can tell that huge world-altering decisions wouldn't work in a cooperative game. It wouldn't work. So why are you going to bitch about it not being there when it obviously wouldn't work?
Yeah.
You're breaking it down to the details.
Real
I'm
quick.
just saying, look at the the icing on the cake. It just doesn't make sense.
Axel-
Like the first layer.
Axel
They're a dying breed,
Axel in
man.
the chat says, "Damn, the panel's triggered about Anthem." Yeah, it sounds like it, man.
Look, man.
They're just trying to give their opinions out there. But real quick, just to let you know, Anthem's Day 1 patch has introduced a spew of new bugs. Or what? All right.
Flu. No, they cured the flu.
They cured the flu.
now they just got a common cold of bugs.
Anthem's Day 1 patch introduces a lot of new bugs, so they're having issues, man. And a lot of this stems from EA's push to get this game out no matter what. There was a deadline to get the game out, and they had to meet it. If the game wasn't ready, that's tough shit, you know what I'm saying? So there are issues. I'm not saying there's not issues, but one of the things that we got to focus on is this is PC. A lot of these reviews are coming out on, and PC historically has issues that consoles don't because there's so many different things going on. So when you do a staggered release, which is EA's fault, it's their fault for doing it this way, then you have these issues. Like if it was all day one, then you have a Metacritic for PC, you have a Metacritic for Xbox One, and then PlayStation. You can kind of make your own decisions, right? The day one patch is there, but since it's all staggered, then we got to go off of PC, and it's not necessarily you're going to have the same bugs on PC as you're going to have on consoles. And I think a lot of the time it's going to be way less. I think people are going to have a better experience on consoles, in my opinion, especially on the Xbox One X. They have marketing rights and all this other stuff. They've had the dev kits and whatever. The patch will come out day one. That's why I'm saying I'm not taking all these PC dudes that have all these PC problems as the word of law for myself for this game, you know? So it's unfortunate because Anthem was my most anticipated game for a long time, and I just think it's just falling into that trap where the negativity avalanche is starting to come down, and if I'm not sure if EA is going to be able to pull themselves out of this mess, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to.
Here's the thing.
What's up?
What EA needs to do to go against all this bullshit is they need to double down on this game. It doesn't matter what it comes out to. It doesn't matter what kind of reviews. BioWare has a plan. They already set up their content roadmap. They need to follow through with it. They're already showing that they have enough time to be able to turn around these quick hot fixes and patches. They need to continue to stay on that. Do not abandon the game after a month like EA has done in the past. I want them right now to take a book. I want them to take the whole goddamn book from Ubisoft and not abandon the game within the first month. Because look at every game that Ubisoft has put out, whether it be Rainbow Six Siege, whether it be For Honor, whether it be the damn Division. All of those games came out and everyone said they're dead within a month. No, you look at it now, 4 years later, Rainbow Six Siege is the highest and most watched competitive first-person shooter around. For Honor has come back massively as a competitive fighter style game. Even the Division had the record right now for one of the biggest patch notes when they turned it around with their 1.11 update, which completely reworked their entire fucking economy and completely fixed everything that was wrong with that game. They need to focus on
the support, man. I think some of the onus is on us as a community, man. We've all made our feelings hurt on what we don't like. How about we start talking about the things that we do as well? There's a lot of shit going on about all we talk about is what I don't like to see here, what's wrong over there, and then it's the next topic, and it's what I don't like about this, what I don't like to see over there. On to the next topic. How about we talk about what we do like about Anthem as well? They're aware of what we want to change. We've been screaming. People are screaming right now. That's out there. So how about we let them know what they've gotten right? By the way, the flying is fucking awesome, and the graphics are melting my face off. I'm loving the gameplay. I love the particles. I enjoy the combos, which are easy to pull off and don't need a tutorial, by the way, casual-ass reviewer. But, I mean, we as a community, it's fair to say what you don't like, but there's nothing wrong with right after you say, I wish something was better, you do say, but I do really love the fact that X, Y, and Z. There's just nothing but negativity out there, and I think a lot of people are afraid because if they say that they're having a good time, that these developers won't change, won't improve, and that is insane chicken little thinking. The sky is not falling. Games are getting better, not worse, as time goes on for anyone who's been gaming for longer than 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on the up and up, guys. Let's relax a little bit and enjoy them for video games. Give your critiques, but enjoy it for what it is beside the point of that. If one or two things is enough to ruin it for you, that's unfortunate, man. I'm way more hardcore of a gamer that I can look past those things. I've been looking past them my entire life. There has never been a perfect game. Every game has an issue to me. I look past it, and then I enjoy what is there that I do like. I would like to see that shift, and I think the community is massively responsible for at least beginning it and showing the media types that we don't only want negative news. I'm down for some success stories and some excitement, damn it.
All right, let's move on to the next topic. MPD for this last month has been revealed, and according to rumors, Nintendo Switch it's on top again. I've said this before. I think Nintendo Switch is going to be on top for the majority, if not the whole time for 2019. I think 2019 is their year. Nick, you were talking about this too. According to these rumors, also there's kind of some low sells when it comes to the Xbox One. Supposedly, it's only sold 101,000 units in January, which is extremely low, down from 235,000 previous January. So it's kind of a low number for Xbox. PlayStation was second, and so forth. Kingdom Hearts 3 was the best-selling game. So I just want to get that information out there. What do you guys think? Do you think that 2019 is the year of the Switch, or do you think Xbox?
No.
Absolutely.
Do we know if the other consoles dropped from the year-on-year as well, or were they on par with what they did last year?
I don't have that.
Yeah. The PS4 and the Xbox One dropped year over year.
Okay.
PS4 was 4% and Xbox was almost 50%.
Ooh.
The Switch is weird. Like on one aspect, it's hot as hell. It's still selling, but on another, I mean, I think it's going to reach a saturation point where it's going to hit about where Xbox sits, I think. It's a lot of people's secondary consoles, but the diehard Nintendo guys, I mean, what Mario fan doesn't have one? What Zelda fan doesn't have one? What Mario Kart, what Smash Bros fan doesn't already have a Switch? I really think that it's reached those guys, and they're not firing on all cylinders when it comes to third party. Let's be real. And then with xCloud coming, that kind of shits on the portability.
To counter that figure, what about the original Wii? Like how many units that sold?
That did huge, dude, but that was literally being played by senior citizens in their 90s on their deathbed when they're playing bowling. Like that transcended the medium of regular video gamedom. It really did, and that's a lightning in a bottle, not to be caught again on Nintendo's aspect. We all had an original Wii, and then we all used it as a paperweight a week later because it was garbage, except for the senior citizens who bowled away for the next 5 years. But in reality, it was not a good
disagree,
system.
man.
I mean,
it was a
I
trend,
disagree.
man.
I like
didn't
the
follow up with
Wii.
it, right?
I like the Wii. I think the Switch could do just as good, if not better, because it hits that hybrid console. You know what I'm saying? It touches that audience, the market. I don't think there's a limit on Nintendo fans out there because they support their products. Like when you look at the figures, and back then, I don't think there was as many gamers that there are today.
No, absolutely not.
So
What
if the
what if
Wii's
in a
doing
year-
100 million, back then.
Nintendo is talking about streaming stuff, kind of like xCloud, right? Like they're at least speaking about stuff like that. So what if in a year or two you can play Nintendo games on any device along with Xbox games? Do you think that'll hurt the Switch?
I don't think it's coming that soon, but
I think it's going to come down to the fact of they're going to take a page out of Microsoft's book, and they're going to put it everywhere that they can, but they're still going to have their own dedicated systems where it's going to work the best. We know that the Xbox OS is just a modified version of Windows, and that can fit anywhere with the xCloud and everything they're going to do, but they're still going to have their dedicated hardware where it plays and runs the best because it's built for that system and that operating system from the ground up.
Yeah. Rumple's foreskin with the $2 super chat. Appreciate it. Love the avatar, my dude.
Remember though, guys, the
Noof,
Wii
what's
sold a ton. Look, the Wii sold a ton too, but guess what? The game rate adoption to Wii wasn't very good. Outside of Nintendo's games, the same old story. Third-party developers, third-party publishers were struggling. I'm really wondering again, outside of Nintendo, which of the third-party publishers are actually doing well with the Switch? I really want to know, because I find it even funny that fucking EA, for crying out loud, I mean, all these Switches in the wild, but EA for sports has only made FIFA so far. They haven't even brought out a Madden game. That kind of a bit weird, don't you think? Like Madden, there's no hockey, there's no golf, there's nothing other than they brought out FIFA, because FIFA is a worldwide kind of sport that generally sells in more than one place. So we know Nintendo's gangbusters. We know that the adoption for Nintendo titles is great, and that's fantastic. And I love my Switch. But I bet you if you went around the panel right now, outside of maybe Nintendo and possibly you, Salty, anybody that owns a Switch probably plays it. Like if you looked at 100% of the week, I bet you I play my Xbox about 80%. I'd say, or no, 70%. Probably 20% from my PlayStation, and then maybe 10% for my Switch. Like that, if I had to break it down in a ratio. And I get the same feeling from a lot of people. Look, every time I go on the Switch, whenever I do fire it up, and it isn't very often, I see like one or two people on it, and that's it, if at all. And most of the time, you look at all the people, the only one I see, Nintendo was on 3 minutes ago. Salty was on an hour ago. That's it. You two guys are about the only two guys I see on an average basis that looks like they even fire that fucking thing up at all.
You want to know the only other person I've ever seen online on Switch is my son standing right next to me.
Yeah.
So is there any game out there that if it comes out on Xbox, an indie game, we'll use an example, and it comes out on the Switch, you buy it on the Switch over Xbox? Anyone here would do that?
The only person who would do that is Nick. And
Really?
Here's the deal. It just depends on the game. Trust me, guys. You don't know how much I like the Nintendo Switch. Here's the deal. The Pro Grip is a game changer, and especially on the mobile. Because if I'm talking about the Pro Grip that I did a review. Okay, so. I'm 6'2", right? I'm a man. I'm 40. No, I'm not 40, but
I'm a man.
So I'm 40. So my hands they cramp up when I'm trying to play when I used to, right, on those chocolate chips and the small. It just ergonomics don't work with that shit. You'll get carpal tunnel in like 2 seconds, right? So once I got those grips, it's a game changer. I could play on it for hours and not even give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? So
on the go.
Plus, I get codes from all these indie devs like crazy that I wouldn't normally buy. So that's a changer, right? Because I play all these games that I don't have to pay $10, $15, $20, and I get to play that. So that's why I'm on there. So I'm not going to say that I'm the typical user, but at the same time, I played Super Smash Brothers on the go. When you're laying in bed and you have insomnia like myself, it's a good thing to have something to do instead of stare at the fucking roof for hours. Okay, so I pull my Switch out and I can play. You know, so
the longer it goes and the bigger the library stacks up, the more appealing it is for the latecomers to the game. In all honesty, it's hard to judge the Nintendo, man. Like you said, they came from the Wii, which did like 130 or 140 million or something. And then they launched the Wii U, which was a disaster, absolute disaster. And then they come back swinging with this Switch. But because it is a different type of thing with the hybridness of it and everything else, it's really hard to judge. I'll tell you this right now. I don't know any senior citizen homes that are lining up to buy a Switch to play Zelda. Like it's not hitting that market. Yeah. So I don't think it's going to reach nearly as well as the Wii did. I really don't. That was a fluke console for Nintendo.
I still think they could hit 100 mil. Go ahead, Titan.
I just wonder when Nintendo's gonna go so far back in time that they sell their games on floppy disks.
Floppy disks. Hey, those little cartridges, man, they're a pain in the ass. All right,
we're on the way. We're almost there.
Hey,
we just make the cartridges.
You drop it, and you lose it in the cartridge. Damn, I lost my game.
Gotta pay the bills. Yobi Dren. Peace, love, life to the panel. Myself and Salty will go head-to-head in Mortal Kombat 11 to celebrate the release. We'll be giving away 2 copies of Mortal Kombat 11 to the community. I will be on it for Xbox One, Switch. Titan Drago, I need all... he needs to yell.
Wait, I like how he faded out because he blew out his
mic.
He
blew his mic out, his ears out, all of our ears out. That was awesome. That was good. Hey, Yobi, we need to play some co-op Crackdown 3 because that game's dope. Anyway, yeah, getting back to this, I think 100 mil, they could hit that. Nick, you're the Nintendo guy. Come on, tell us, dude. Tell us your thoughts.
I'm telling you, it announced.
What do you want to know?
What do you think about the Switch and the whole argument that Shady's putting out there that the Wii was more accessible to everybody, the senior citizens, everything else? Do you think the Switch is gonna? What kind of numbers do you see the Switch hitting in its lifetime? You know, saying it has a traditional lifespan. You know,
Shady's not wrong about the Wii. I agree with him on that one. The Wii was one of those consoles that did hit a lot of demographics. A lot of people had them, but the Switch, I think. We've discussed this. I think they're going to hit hard during this time where Xbox and Microsoft and Xbox and Sony are sort of getting their stuff together for next generation. And as you can tell, there was like literally at this Direct, and then there's still more coming in E3. But at this Direct, they had a lot to announce. They had a lot of first-party games they announced. They also hinted at some games coming. They still have some third party. They don't have all the third party, but they do have some third party coming to the Switch. They have these other companies lining up to make games for the Switch. EA's even said that they are going to start showing some support for the Switch as far as Frostbite support goes. So EA's slowly starting to creep over to and warm up to the Switch. So I think that the Switch right now, it's a hot thing. I don't know how the momentum is going to be. I think right now we just have to wait to see how 2019 goes, dude. Honestly, if you're just talking to me, I don't know if it'll hit the 100 mil. I don't know.
You don't think so?
I say 75 mil.
I think about 70, 80, 90 or something around there, maybe. I don't know if it's going to be the whole Wii numbers. I think the Switch right now.
Well, did you say the Wii was like 140? What was that?
Yeah, it was 140. Okay. It hit 140 mil by end of lifetime.
I think between 50, 60.
I think it'll do about 80, which is better than the GameCube did and the did. So the Switch is hot. It's going well. We'll just have to see how this year goes. I think Smash really holding over some of these numbers right now.
Look, I'm telling you, as soon as they announce Animal Crossing, it'll be off the shelves. I will literally buy 4 of them right away.
I could give 2 shits about Animal Crossing.
You know,
I know you.
I know a lot of people do. I know a lot of people like it.
And Shady mentioned that older demographic. Old people love Animal Crossing, dog.
Hey, what about that the new Zelda remake, man? That shit's hot. I like it.
Yeah. Zelda Link's Awakening is pretty cool. Yep. I still personally would say that, Link to the Past would be better than me.
They'll probably do that later. Luigi's Mansion.
Probably. Yeah. They got some good. They announced at what's going to be coming out for this year. It's a lot of good stuff.
So 2019 is the year of the Switch, right?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Look, alone for me, the 3 biggest games that they announced during that Nintendo Direct that sold me, that I'm waiting for, is Fire Emblem, because I love tactical strategy games, and I've always been a Fire Emblem fan. The Astral Chain really sold me on that, and then of course Bayonetta, because they are already remaking all of them for Switch, and of course we already knew that's coming. But with the fact they already confirmed that there's still a Animal Crossing coming out, if it comes out this year, I'm literally throwing all my money at a Switch immediately to buy literally 2 for myself.
That's cool.
I think the Nintendo Switch could easily hit 90 million consoles sold by 2022.
Yeah, Hyena.
I think within the next 3 years, it's possible.
Hey, Hyena, real quick. Real quick.
I think I will say this much though. It depends on what they do with this next rendition. This Switch Mini thing, oh my gosh.
I ain't on board with the Switch Mini, man.
What they do with these Switch renditions coming
I know Hyena is going to jump on board when the traditional Pokemon game comes out, dude. You know, so.
Yes, that too.
Absolutely.
So, I said, I just want to point out 2019, possibly 2020 is going to be the Switch's year. Which I don't know if they're going to hit that 40 million mark. Probably not by, March. But it's interesting. We got some more Nintendo news / Xbox news because there's some good shit going on. Let's briefly talk about Reggie. He's going to retire. Reggie!
Yeah.
You know?
The rest of the dude's dead. He's not dead.
Reggie's been there for 15 yeah, he's been there for 15 years, man. So he's parting ways with Nintendo, spent time with his family, friends, and some other stuff. He did this video. It was nice, man. People in the industry, Phil Spencer reached out, Jeff Keighley, we don't talk about him. Corey Barlog, he said some shout outs to him, and lots of other people, Michael Pachter, everybody was reaching out to Reggie, you know. So I think Reggie did a good job in his position, but guess who's taking over? It's Bowser. You know what I'm saying? That's why I got Bowser in the background. You know?
Bowser
taking over, man.
So
He's
Bowser
to take your princess.
That's right. Bowser's one of my favorite. I don't know. He's just a badass dude. I like the character model. I play as him in Smash.
Giant spiky turtle.
Yeah, dude, he's fucking badass, dude. So, real quick, because Nick's our resident dude. What do you think of the changes there? And Reggie, did you cry a little bit when you heard this news, or?
No, I didn't cry.
Okay.
I didn't cry. It was kind of surprising because you would think that with the momentum of the Switch, like the way it's going, you think that he would have stayed around for a little bit longer. You know what I mean? But he just decided to step down, man. And Doug Bowser, you got some shoes to fill, my dude. You really do, because I mean, Reggie was the face of Nintendo for America, and people actually liked Reggie, and so you got some shoes to fill, my dude. And I don't know how.
Hey, Reggie's left a hell of a mark, though.
Exactly, and I mean, what was he, the head of sales and marketing? So I mean, okay, let's see what you got. But this is going to leave a bit of a void. It's going to be hard getting used to seeing him at E3 and him on the direct.
He was a personality. He had one of those personalities that a lot of people just loved. He was a goofy dude, but a lot of people liked the goofiness of him. I mean, he's immortalized already as a meme across the internet, but it's for a good reason. It's a good reason. Like, he's legitimately enthusiastic about what he did. So Bowser really has a lot to really.
He really does. And I'm just.
Are you optimistic or worried?
Because Reggie kind of he was talking a lot of smack about E3 and all the stuff coming up. Like, he was really talking some smack, and then all of a sudden he just stepped down. It was just really surprising because it seemed like he was building up. Yo, we're ready for E3. We're ready for it, and then all of a sudden he's gone now.
Well, you know, it's not. I definitely see where you're coming from with that, but it could be one of those aspects of he was getting everyone excited for what they're gonna do, and he wants to let them, the new head, really lead it.
Yeah,
because that there's nothing wrong with that, because we've seen that where it happened before, where they hype it up and yet someone else runs the aspect. But it's not necessarily a bad thing, because the fact that he could still do it all right. But right now, the biggest viewpoint, I guess, of it all is he's going. Reggie's retiring at the top. Nintendo really came back with what they did with the Switch. Think about if he would have retired back during the Wii U era. That would have been a massive low point for him.
That is true. If he still plans on working anywhere, leaving on a high point like this looks really good on that resume, man. Looks real damn good.
Dude is filthy rich now. The guy is tired of building games. He wants to go play the motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's true.
I just hope this new big bad Bowser dude can maybe mature Nintendo a little bit, if you will. I feel like I've grown up with this industry, and Nintendo has refused to grow up with me at all. They just stopped when I was like 13. Just stopped.
I think you're starting to see a little bit with this new guard that's coming in, because Reggie's gone, Furukawa's in. They're starting to get some newer, fresher faces in. I think you're gonna start seeing a little bit. I don't know how much we're gonna see, but you're gonna start seeing a little bit.
And just try maybe break Nintendo off of like some of their traditions, as successful as it is. I'd like to see the company just truly be the company that they could be, man. I miss the days when Nintendo released, the most powerful console. The SNES was insane. The 8-bit NES was insane. The Cube was a monster. Like, I just miss those days. Now it feels like they rely on gimmicks and their IP more than anything. Of course, power isn't everything, man. But I would love to see Nintendo have a system that can support the rest of what the industry wants to do, not just their own agenda at all times.
Okay.
I hope this guy can kind of change that.
So real quick, we're going to give a copy away of Titanfall 2 via, it's a surprise giveaway as well, via Noof Nukem, because he has a copy of that. So we're going to do... I'm going to think of a number in my head real quick. If you want this game, you got to say, don't get it if you don't want it, dude. If you already have it and you don't plan on using it, it's for Xbox One as well. So if you don't want it, then don't do the giveaway, okay? All right, so I'm going to pick a number between 1 and 200, okay? And then the first person to get it that I see... or whatever you start typing numbers, right? Let's go 1 to 150. There's a lot of numbers here. I'm gonna pick it in my head, so I'm not really doing some shady shit here. Okay, no offense, so shady. Let's go. If you want to enter, do the numbers here. We'll go for
Axel, dog.
Dang, Axel, disqualified. Just kidding. I'm going to see here.
More of the big three.
Axel went through. Holy shit.
That's the worst thing when you got a big podcast. Lots of numbers.
Yep.
Well, it ain't going to be 69 because Noof's not doing it.
So good Lord, between 1 and 150, that's really narrowing it down there, Salty.
I got some Jeopardy music going in the background, dog.
All right, I'm gonna give you guys like 10 more seconds, and the closest to it gets it.
Breaking news: they just announced all 9 DLC characters for Jump Force for anyone who cares.
All right,
who are they?
Let them know.
8675309.
Is there any more from that My Hero Academia? I think that game alone could make a cool fighting game.
Yes,
just that series.
Yes, they announced. So right here, the first 3 that have been announced, or some of the ones that have been announced. All Might's going to be in the game. Bakugo's Bakugo's been confirmed. Kaiba from Yu-Gi-Oh has been confirmed here. The first Hokage from Naruto has been confirmed. Another One Piece character, I can't remember that dude. Then 2 more from Bleach, and it's the captains who I don't give a shit about because Bleach is trash. Kid Buu got confirmed.
Gross.
And I can't remember her name. She's the little blondie from Hunter x Hunter. Was also confirmed.
All right, nobody's said the exact number, but we'll stop it there.
I'm mad because Suna's not confirmed.
Matthew Roy Couture with a 149 is actually 150. No one actually said that. It was kind of weird, but it is what it is. You're the winner.
Guys, y'all. Whenever you're given a like a range, you always go for the lowest and the highest.
Yeah, I was for sure someone's gonna actually say that number because I said I changed.
If you want to be technical, between 1 and 150 can't be 150 because that's not between it.
I mean, okay, so 149 is the number then, right? It's the best number there. Okay, all right, good shit. Good shit. Contact me on Twitter with your information if you're on Twitter. If not, then it's going to be difficult. We'll see about that. But yeah, the next giveaway will be happening pretty soon as well. I just want to go over the last topic of the night, which is the juiciest. And, it's kind of the juiciest. It is what it is. It triggered a lot of people. There's rumors out there. And we talked about this before because I've seen this trend. And I'm like, well, if you start connecting the dots, right, Titan? We were like, okay. Mm-hmm. So they're putting, it's like if Xbox Live's going there, then everything else is going to go there eventually. So, according to rumors and reports from reliable sources, according to the same source, Direct Feed Games, which is reliable in essence. Microsoft themselves are going to be bringing over the Xbox app and Xbox Game Pass to the Nintendo Switch, and it doesn't stop there.
Go.
The Nintendo Switch is also going to be receiving direct ports, so this isn't something that's going to be streamed for Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and interesting enough, maybe Cuphead as well.
I would say this. Ori and Cuphead would be perfect for the Switch because they're side-scrolling platformers, and they would be perfect for that, especially Ori as a Metroidvania style game, because why not go back to where it all started way back in the day on the NES and the SNES and all that. And yes, I think Super Lucky Sale would also go good on the Switch.
You notice how they said those are the games that would be actually made for the system, like ported to it instead of streamed. It's because the only way Game Pass on the Switch could function at all is if those games are essentially being streamed to it, probably via xCloud. Is how it's going to work. That's the only way it could work. They're not making Halo for the Switch. They're not going to remake Gears 4 for the Switch. They're just going to stream those games to the Switch. Yeah. And this is a brilliant move, man. It's brilliant. We need these fucking barriers to break down. I want gamers to have access to games out there. Let them play on the console that is at the price point they like, has the controllers they like, has their friends on it, the online, whatever. Let them play on the device they enjoy, and let them play all the games that are out there. That is way, way better than this fanboy arguing back and forth. This game's garbage because it's not on that system, but it's on this one. Or this game's better because it's on this system, not that. I'm sick of it, man. I'm sick of the word exclusive. I fucking hate it, dude. Yeah. So when it comes to games being available on all devices, I am a huge proponent of that movement. I love seeing it, man. I look forward to hearing from all the Nintendo fans on what they think of some of these games they didn't previously have access to. Nintendo has already also previously stated that they're looking at doing this type of distribution. And if Xbox is willing to play ball like they seemingly are, I would expect Nintendo to start playing ball back. And all of a sudden I get to play Mario and Zelda on my Xbox. I'll take it. Like, I love this movement. I hope we get more of it. And I hope Sony includes themselves in it as well. I think it's going to happen. It's the wave of the future. That old way of gating games that saved the industry arguably back in the early 80s is old. It's an old way. We're in a different time, a different world. The internet wasn't even fucking conceived of then. It rules everything now. So it's time for a change, and I think this is a positive move where everyone in the gaming community can just start to discuss what it is that we enjoy and don't about the games that we're playing, as opposed to which goddamn system it plays on. I'm sick of that narrative.
Sony, I agree with everything you said except for the Sony part. Sony is in their own world. So they're in the dark. They're the dark side. They're starting
to play nice. There's a bit of crossplay going on over there.
Even Sean Layton absolutely forced on them by the industry itself.
But they are doing it. And even Sean Layton has said he's going to stop referring to Nintendo and Xbox as competing platforms or other platforms. He's essentially saying we're going to recognize that Nintendo and Microsoft exist when we speak about them.
Oh, you noticed before,
oh my god! Oh my gosh!
The point is,
so much, Sony, for recognizing
exactly.
Realm.
The point is that Sony is
out of here, dog.
Its very first baby steps at playing nice with others, and that's a good thing to see. I think it's something to be applauded, as embarrassingly small as it is of a step. Hey, I'm going to coax it on. I hope Sony starts to play nice. Right. They're at least taking the baby steps, dude. And Nintendo and Xbox are, it's awesome, man. This is an awesome thing to see. Anyone out there who's hating on it is essentially waving a gigantic neon glowing fanboy flag.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Don't talk to me.
You know what? A month ago, during the last Inside Xbox episode, Nick, Salty, and we saw this partnership coming. And, and it went all the way up to possibly merger talks in a couple generations. And with this partnership thing, it's like coming faster than we even thought was possible, I think.
Hey, look, I don't think
that's what she said.
I don't think we'll see a merger, but I definitely see that this friendship and this partnership is definitely going to be like.
Well, now that it's fucking here, of course you do. No, but we were talking about this.
Hey, hold that thought. You guys can debate real quick. Axel1324 with the $5 super chat. The new competitors, Google and Amazon, will not keep their games exclusive to Android or Kindle devices. Xbox wants to be the best game gaming service. Yeah, that's facts. I mean,
Oh yeah, absolutely. Microsoft will they have what they're building with Xbox and everything. Sony and Nintendo are not their main competition. They're looking at those who are actually trying to get in, which is going to be Google and Apple, other big, service companies that actually have an infrastructure that can compete with what Microsoft has already set up. Nintendo knows what they're doing, and they've been working with Microsoft for a while. Them partnering together is no big surprise. And if they lock it down, I was like, I don't think they'll ever merge, but definitely the partnership as two companies working together the way they do definitely would not put it past them, because the fact that the biggest aspect is the kind of streaming service that Apple already has set up and what Google is trying to do, because of the fact that they've already had their hands in all those different style of streamings, from their music, from their music anywhere, movies anywhere, all that shit, and what they're setting up with the internal streaming through Chrome right now. It works well, but remember, Chrome is a damn ram hog. But we're gonna have to see how that all plays out. But
So,
those are the real threats.
what would you guys say to people that say that Xbox and Microsoft don't care about the Xbox fans and the Xbox gamers anymore? Because I've seen this. I saw people that were triggered and said, if this is the way they're going, I'm out. I have no reason to stay in the ecosystem.
Why? If you enjoy the system, enjoy the controller,
That's what they're saying.
Friends,
I
what
mean,
does it matter if someone else is enjoying my Halo? Fuck this.
That's,
I'm out.
I know. But what's
them.
their motivation to buy an Xbox if Xbox Live is on other devices and they potentially get it for free, just like PC, right? The question is whether a Nintendo is going to have to pay or not for Xbox Live. And beyond that, they're getting your Xbox exclusives. So what is keeping you on Xbox? If you get Gamer Score, you get everything else on the Nintendo Switch, why would you stay here?
Hold on. Okay. When it comes to the whole exclusive bit, I've every time I hear it, it's always changing wind. Like we hear it with Crackdown 3. You have your extremists on both sides. On the Sony side of things, people that hate Crackdown 3, they're saying, "Oh, that's a bad exclusive," right? But then you say, "Well, I'm not going to play Ori or Gears of War on Xbox because it's not exclusive." Which one is it?
Better yet, the fact that when there's a game like Crackdown that comes out, right, and it's exclusive to Xbox, that you're having PlayStation fans or other gaming websites say, hey, games that are like Crackdown only on PS4, right? Why do you have to go out of your way to make a list of games that are similar to that if you don't want it?
What's the narrative about trying to get me to buy more than one system? Is everyone like, hey, man, you only have one Blu-ray player? You need 3. You're not a real Blu-ray connoisseur if you don't have 3 Blu-ray players. I want to buy one system. I'm tired of spending my money on numerous
Blu-ray.
systems.
I don't want blue balls by having the others just sit there. I just want one system that I enjoy using. I'll buy the PlayStation games that I like on my Xbox. I'll buy the Nintendo games that I like on my Xbox. Those companies will make money off of me. Whereas right now, asking me to go out and shell out hundreds of dollars for a system that I'm barely going to turn on, with the exception of a handful of games for an entire generation, is old fucking school thinking. Who cares? Microsoft doesn't care if you don't want to have an Xbox. They want you to play their games. So if you're going to go out and play Gears 4 on a tablet, they don't give a shit. I'm going to play it on my Xbox because I enjoy consoles. I don't want to use a Switch. I don't want to use a phone. Right. I don't want to use that as my primary. I like Xbox. I like their controllers. I like their online setup. Paying $60 a year for gold is not asking much. You can also game share that. And if you use the rewards program, it's the equivalent of like $25 a year. It's free because it's with rewards. But it's just bitching to bitch, man. This is a good thing. If you don't want to buy an Xbox because you can get the shit elsewhere, don't. For everyone else that doesn't want to have a PlayStation anymore or a Switch anymore and wants an Xbox, I hope those other companies do what Xbox is doing. They're going to get more of my business doing it that way than gating it behind a console I actually don't want.
The thing that people
I want the games, not the second console. Sorry.
The thing that people really have to understand here, and I think I forget who was on Twitter. It was fucking Blackbond, that dumbass. So he's talking about, well, what's the reason to get an Xbox anymore if all their stuff is going to be anywhere? And it's like, you have to understand that there are people out in this world that only play on console. This is their, vendor. That's what they do. They only play on console. Some people only play on mobile, and some people only play on PC. That's just how the world works. So Microsoft doing this, they still have to support every segment of that market, because there's always going to be somebody within that segment that wants, their stuff. They're not going to, I don't think they're going to drop consoles within the next, I would even say 10 years. But when it comes to me, everybody, like I've mentioned many times in the past, I am a big Nintendo fan. I became a Nintendo fan before I became an Xbox fan. Nintendo and Xbox are almost one and the same when it comes to my life and how I treat gaming. If for me, over time, I've realized with TVs, with cell phones, laptops, doesn't matter. The product that I buy, if I can use that product in multiple instances and not be locked down behind something, that's only made me happier in the end result, especially with gaming. Like, if Xbox ceased to exist, like they just stopped making consoles for whatever reason, and Forza's now on, it's obviously still going to be on PC or the Switch or, even PlayStation, I'll go wherever the games are. It's not that big of a deal. It really isn't.
Here's my thing. Common sense coming at you. To those that say, I'm not going to buy another Xbox if they do this, like you're a fucking crying child or something.
Yep.
The Xbox doesn't care. That's one less Xbox they got to make and make pennies off of. You're going to buy the games on whatever platform you buy that the Xbox service and games are going to be on. That's what they care about. Xbox isn't printing these games, a lot of these games. Like, don't get sucked into the toxic extremist theories and narratives that these people try to create, because they want Xbox to look bad. And you're going to see people say, oh, well, you're just damage controlling it. Well, the thing is, you're trying to damage the Xbox identity with your immature toxicity. What am I supposed to just let you talk trash about Xbox all day? Yep. And you're not supposed to get called out on it? When you're acting stupid, I'm going to call you out on it until you get so stupid I got to block you.
Well, Randall Thor put it perfectly in his last podcast, and he said, if the worst thing you can say about Xbox and its games is I'll play that elsewhere, then go for it. You're at least playing the games.
Where they make the most money, which some people seem to think is uber important, even though they're not fucking stockholders and everything else. It's nuts. Like, this is all to count consoles, which is the way the industry has worked for 30 years. Times have changed, man. Thanks for saving it back in the day, Japan, but it's not just them that's doing it either. Like, Xbox is here, Google's coming in, there's rumor of Apple, Amazon. It's not going to be 2/3 Japanese controlled anymore. Like, gaming is going to be a different beast very soon, and console sales are an old metric that are nowhere near as important as they once were.
As you know,
my question is, would Microsoft have changed and been as right-wing as they are if the Xbox was the fucking market leader instead of getting its ass completely kicked this generation, especially in Japan, where they can't make a goddamn dent?
I think so still, because there is still more money to be made selling your games to potentially billions over 100 million. There is just way more money sitting there potentially. So I think they still would have made this move. Microsoft is a market leader, and they just often make the moves too early and scare everyone away. And then once people are used to the idea, other companies come out and have massive success.
You're not wrong about that, right? Every time Microsoft as a company has done anything, they're well ahead of the curve. They're visionaries. They're pioneers. They look at the market trends. And I've said this multiple times on so many different shows. It's just the aspect of timing. Look at what they were trying to accomplish with 2013, with the always online, with the way that DRM works. All that kind of stuff. People were not ready for that back then. You look at it 2 years after that, it was normal. Every game is online. It has to connect to some sort of online server. Look at games like Destiny. Look at any sort of EA sports game. All has to connect to their online stats tracker or anything like that. Any real online service-based game has constant DRM or anything like that. They're
just with patches, man. If people are buying games in the store and have never attached their system to the internet, they're playing the most broken versions of every game that release. Like, you need the internet in order to play gaming today. You do.
Yep. Hey, Rumple Foreskin with that $2 make you holler. Thank you. Truly appreciate it, man. Appreciate everybody that's in the chat.
I mean, by the time we're done here, we gonna have some Rumple Foreskin from this dude.
So anyway, this is a hot button topic, and I know there's some people that are on one side of the argument and some are on the other, but I just think it's important to kind of keep it real when we talk about things, because here on the Saltiest Gaming Podcast, we like to have good debates and good discussion, and you know that occurs on both sides. And I know Noof is more of a traditional gamer, and you know there's some other people that have different opinions there, but we're all gamers at the end of the day, and we're not sure how this is going to go down. I'm not sure what Xbox is going to get in return or vice versa, and I at the end of the day, it's up to us as consumers to decide where we want to put our coin and investments when it comes to gaming. So we shall see. I don't know. We don't.
I got it.
What's up?
Nintendo and Xbox together. Switchbox X.
Switchbox X. No, I think it honestly, if you look at it from this perspective, Xbox doesn't want to invest money into a portable gaming device, or hasn't shown interest in that. So if you get all this Xbox situation going on your Switch, it will just be like your portable Xbox, you know. So it is what it is, man.
Awesome.
You know.
Oh,
So
what if they help them make like a supercharged portable console?
the possibilities are endless, but we're over time. I know Nick needs to get up early, and we have some other things. We got to make the announcement for the winner, and I actually showed the winner on screen. I don't know how many of you saw that, but Nick tried to tell me, because I was trying to pull up. I was drawing for the win, and it came through the Google Hangout because the window was huge. So I'm surprised people didn't catch that. But Punk Kiddish Gaming, you are the winner of Anthem. You need to hit me up. And congratulations there. If you're still in there, you got 30 seconds to respond. I kind of try to text you, but you're playing Anthem and shit, like the trial on EA Access or whatever. It's crazy. Punk's a good guy. He's a good part of the community. So congratulations, Punk. And congratulations. Who won the copy of whatever Titanfall 2? It was Matthew, right? Or whatever. Congratulations to you guys. And then we're going to be doing a Mortal Kombat 11 giveaway for 2 copies. So stay tuned for that. So yeah, more giveaways to come. It's a sad day because my brother Nick's leaving me again, man. Keeps leaving me. It's rigged. Yeah, everybody says that, right? It's rigged. It's rigged.
Okay, this is sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So Porn Stash 69 ride.
Mustache Ride.
Mustache Ride 69, sir. Get it right.
The
Yes.
myth.
Can we get F's in the chat for all the people that didn't win? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Microsoft and Xbox make a console. They should call it the Snitch Box.
The snitch box. F's in the chats for everybody that didn't win. I'm sorry. It's rigged. All right, let's get to our outros because it's been one hell of a night, man. Let's get 100 likes before we get on out of here. Hey, trust me, guys. I'm getting more and more codes from developers, and I'm going to start handing those out like candy in the chat. So stay tuned to that. If you like indies or even regular games, hell, because, you know, the more the channel grows, the more codes I get. I'm going to give back to the community as much as I can. I appreciate all you guys. So stay tuned for future offerings.
Salty candy.
Yeah, I'll give you. Yeah, it's going to be salty. All right. We're going to make it rain. Let's get to our outros. I appreciate our guests, man. You guys hit it out of the park like usual. Shady, where can people find you, man?
First off, Salty, thanks for having me, man. I love coming here. As I said in the intro, it's a great time all the time. I love talking games, man. You can find me on Twitter. I am so shady at Basesh Empire, one word. On Xbox, I am so shady. That's 2 words. I'm also on Breakfast with Boom tomorrow on Mr. Boomstick XL's YouTube, and then doing another show with Boom, actually, a Crackdown special. A couple of crackheads getting together Saturday.
Crackheads getting together, baby.
That's right. To just discuss what we think of the game, the overall community reaction versus the media reaction, that type of thing. We hope you guys can join us. And then on Monday, I will be on Game Dosage Podcast with the one and only New coming Tactic Glitcher on Tactic Glitcher's channel.
Awesome. Good to have you, man.
God, you just gave me. Somebody needs to make the fucking shirt, fucking crackheads with the crackhead logo. What do you think?
Seriously.
Yeah,
that would be tight. That'd be perfect.
I'd have to buy one. That'd be awesome.
Crackheads 3. All right.
Sounds like an orb for your head.
Hyena Den did a good job again. Thanks for being here. Thanks for taking some time out of shoveling snow in the desert and all that shit. What up? Where can people find you?
It's really awesome being on the Saltiest Gaming Podcast again. You guys can find me on Twitter at Hyenaden Xbox Live or Hyenaden on Xbox. And I'm trying to push out this pretty big project that I'm working on for a YouTube. So we'll see how that works. Yeah, make sure to subscribe to his channel. He's trying to coming up in the YouTube scene. I lost a subscriber yesterday. What's up? I lost a subscriber yesterday. Oh, you lost a subscriber? I went up by 2, went down by 3. I'm like, okay.
Join the club.
Just wait until you get that subscriber that auto thumbs down your videos. That's always cute.
Oh no,
you know
no, he's there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my wife was seeing the stream before it was live, and she's like, "You already have a thumbs down." I was like, "Yeah, it's that one guy that loves to thumbs down my shit." So anyway, shout out to you.
It's awesome doing stuff on YouTube, though.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. We get to hang out with awesome gamers from around the world. Who wouldn't like to do that if you're a gamer? So next up, we have Noof Nukem. You have a new show that you should plug. It's on Tuesday nights, and tell people where they could find you. Let's get 1,000 subs for Noof Nukem. Let's get him a super chat going. You know,
it's a new show featuring some plugs. But
some plugs.
Thanks for that, Salty. I greatly appreciate it, man. This podcast tonight, this one was a doozy. This was on fire. Unbelievable. Great opinions, great subject matter, all that good stuff. Chat was on fire as well. You guys are fantastic guests. You can find me, obviously, outside of this incredible podcast on Monday nights with the Game Dosage podcast. So Shady's been guesting with us the last couple of weeks. We look forward to having him back as long as he's got the time and the place.
The affiliate.
Yes, the affiliate, the Empire. And and I would say that if you haven't heard already, I have started a little venture with Primal, which it's been getting a lot of great reception. It is called Gaming After Dark. It is pretty much kind of like almost any other game podcast, except
Gaming After Dark.
Gaming After Dark.
Gaming After Dark. It's a little raunchy. It's that typical no chills, Noof Nukem humor you've come to expect, and some of you may love or detest, whatever. But whatever brings the homies in, come check that out on Tuesday nights as well with me and Primal Eve, and sometimes we have guests. So thanks, guys. Have a great night. We'll catch you on Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, whatever it might be.
Yep. Bring your plugs. Next up, we got Titan Drago. Bobcat Goldthwait or whatever the fuck it's called.
I'm just camping the spawn.
I'm just camping the spawn.
Noof, I still think you should try out the name Noof at Night instead of Nick at Night. You know what I'm saying?
Noof at Night.
But hey, this is just in, everybody. I've been posting this meme around everyone. The world is almost out of common sense, everybody. Help me bring it back, please. Because if you have a problem with someone on social media, don't follow them. If you don't like a YouTube channel, don't subscribe. Don't watch their channel and just down thumbs it. That's what losers do. But anyway, you're adding to the problem yourselves. You're supporting toxic behavior. Like, destroy the toxicity by leaving it. And Nick, I'll miss you while you're gone, man. It's been an awesome podcasting with you. I really enjoy it. And you've been in and out of this podcast more times than I can thrust in a night. So,
Lord.
Let's bring the comment back to sense.
Yeah. Good to have you back, man. Everybody, it's good to be back, man. We took a week off. Bloody Knuckles. Where can people find you?
And they can find me everywhere. Mixer.com.
Yes, you are everywhere, man.
Mixer.com, Twitter.com. Facebook, Instagram, and of course on Twitter, all at Bloody Knuckles. The O is a 0, the E is a 3, and it ends in a Z. And they can find me here every Thursday with you asshats, Salty Sons of Guns. They can find me every Friday on GRG over there with K Mega. On Saturdays on my channel at the Smash Podcast, your little corner for all things nerdy news and geeky goodness. And of course, they want to make sure that they are subscribed and checking out the Tick Games Network YouTube channel, as well as the tickgamesnetwork.com website, as I am a co-host there and partner with them for the Otaku Fix, your one-stop shop for all things news, reviews, and previews of the Japanese subculture. So yeah, I'm all over and super busy. I don't have a free moment to myself, except at night for all like 5 minutes.
The longest outro of the night. Brought to you in part by Bloody Knuckles.
5 minutes.
Hey, Nick, you knew where I was going with that.
Speaking of Nick, you need help filling his void, bro. You just send the salt signal over to the Sesh Empire, man. I'll swing by and help you out.
That's right, baby.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Nick, saved last but not least, I need you to tell them where they can find you because shit's changing. You're changing things up. You haven't had content for a while, and you're kind of restructuring stuff. Let them know where they can find you, all these beautiful people out there.
All right, you can find me at
In
YouTube.
St. Louis. No,
You can also find me there too, but you can also find me there too, but you can definitely find me YouTube, Nintendo Direct, Twitch, Twitter, all that stuff. Yeah, like Salty said, because of everything that's changing, I haven't been able to I have not Grindr because everything has been changing. I have not been able to put out very much
occasionally
content,
on Grindr.
I have just been swapping everything over. So Nintendo Direct now is going to be Nintendo in the morning. I'm going to be doing a morning show, and then I will be streaming late nights like I used to back in the day. And I'll still be doing the typical indie reviews and some of the new stuff like that. But I'm just shifting my channel just because of my work schedule. Things had to happen because, you got to pay the bills, man. You got to pay the bills. And so got a raise and all that stuff. I got a raise and a bonus for going to this new shift. So I decided to do that. So it's good for the family and all that stuff, but I'm going to miss everybody on the podcast for sure. That's 100%. So I will be in the chat though, because I will be watching at work because that was literally my entertainment when I was on the shift beforehand. So I can't wait.
Sweet, man. So I'll put all that information, juicy information, in the description. I put out a couple of reviews this week for Metro Exodus and Crackdown 3, so check those out. Like I said before, we're going to be doing another giveaway. I'll put those details out on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter, and that's about it, man. We went hella long tonight, probably the longest episode we've had.
Damn good show, though.
Good shit, though, right? Yeah, that's about it, man. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Hopefully you're playing Anthem and not listening to all those haters out there. Maybe you did. Maybe you hate Anthem, whatever. I think it's going to be a good time.
Playing Anthem, you only got less than an hour.
That's true. An hour and it drops. So, yeah, that's going to do it for this episode. Have a great weekend. Keep it gaming. And as always, stay salty, my friends.